Is this your first podcast since like Thanksgiving?
No, I did one last week.
Oh, okay. And when do you think this one's gonna
Breaks.
be out?
Friday.
Nice. That'll be that's cool. So what have you guys been talking about lately? Or like, uh, yeah, what's what topics do you want to cover today?
Um, I mean, I think the UHC assassin is probably what I've been most focused on this week. How do I sound, by the way, on your end?
You sound fine.
All right. Is that a little better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Yeah, last week we talked about Zach Bryan. I don't know if you're familiar with him or what's going on there.
No. What's that all about?
He's a country singer, I guess, that's dating or was dating a Barstool Sports podcaster,
Oh yeah.
and I was talking to a friend of mine who's like a super fan, but pretty like level headed on the whole thing. He's just like got a really bad trait. He's got we named the show the Zach Bryan the male Taylor Swift because he's just got this like very transparent pattern of emotionally manipulating women,
Oh my god.
breaking up with them, and then writing songs about it.
Wow.
Um,
And he's country music.
yeah, I have only heard one song. I really had never heard about him until the drama myself.
Yeah. I'm not like a huge country music fan. But
Definitely not modern country for me. I like older country.
yeah.
Um, well, I was just watching your video on Syria because I'm pretty
Oh my god.
no, no pun intended uninformed on what's going on there.
Oh my god. Yeah, same. That's why I made it. Like I made it as much for myself as I did for other people. And
Yeah.
I need to make another video about Syria because the situation's changing so fast. Like I've heard now there are attacks on Kurdish people in like northern Syria, and Israel's
Mm-hmm.
bombing them. Israel's invading Syria now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, oh my god, this is not the way to set up a new country essentially, or at least a new government.
So, okay, so yeah, I didn't. I mean, I didn't get too far in your video, unfortunately. But like, so Al Qaeda took over Syria, and I don't know. All I've seen is that like, Jesus, hold on one second. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you guys chat, if you find good links to like Syrian news, I'd be willing to cover it. There's also like a new there's
Sorry, my dogs were barking.
there's also like more Ethan Klein stuff that I need to cover, but DE ISIS. Oh my god.
De ISIS.
Yeah, instead of DEI.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, basically, all I had seen so far was just like, oh fucking Christ, come on, man. That so like similar to like sometimes you'll see people when it comes to Israel Palestine saying that like the basically like the whole free Palestine idea is sort of like strictly American and not what like real Muslims and real Palestinians believe. I mean, like on social media, you see this,
Yeah.
and now I was kind of seeing the same thing with Syria, where like I don't know. They were basically, it was kind of also similar to like kind of Tibet. I don't know. They were basically saying that there was a lot of like slaves that just got freed and stuff, and like how dare the left oppose this? So I just I don't know. It just seems
Yeah, I mean, my position on it is essentially like, sure, of course, the groups that were responsible for deposing Assad were extremist groups. Like, that's kind of like tautological, where if there's a violent resistance against the government, that violent resistance is going to be extremist, because it's like you
of
need to
course.
be extreme to use violence. Oh, do you want to introduce yourself to my chat real quick before we
Oh
keep
yeah.
talking?
Oh fucking come on, man! Don't embarrass me in front of chat. Yeah, my name is Zach. I'm from Illinois. I do a comedy podcast where quite often we talk about politics, but um, from a very again, no pun intended, but uninformed perspective. But we're trying to be more funny than informative. Don't know how well we always do that, but yeah, we're kind of derivative of some other podcasts that I won't name, but yeah, we just like to have a silly time, and lately it's been getting a little bit more serious, but it's just kind of the way of the world right now. I don't know. There's so much going on every week. It's hard not to talk about politics, honestly.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and you said that you were watching like some of my videos and you wanted to reach out, right?
Yeah. I've seen quite a few of your videos. Like I said, I haven't talked about the Hassan and Ethan stuff on my show.
Right,
But
yeah.
I found your videos very helpful,
No,
unpacking
honestly,
all that.
like I've been kind of meaning to go over some of my videos on it and clip out some of the highlights, because it's becoming to be a lot of different stuff. But yeah, just to get back to like the whole Syria thing.
Oh, you know, real quick, you should probably also do the same for yourself. Introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah. I'm James. I run a channel called Uninformed Leftist, where I cover politics essentially from a progressive perspective. And obviously, trying to learn, hence the name Uninformed. And it's so hopefully you'd enjoy checking out my stuff with me and learning with me along the way.
Do you think you will one day drop the prefix?
No.
When?
At this point, it doesn't even matter. Like, there's always
No, I
things you
know.
can be
I'm just kidding.
uninformed about, and I've gotten a few comments that it's like, oh, well, you should say that you're not uninformed, because it's gonna make people think that it's gonna make people think that you don't know what you're talking about. Or other comments like, you should not say leftist in your YouTube channel, because then people are gonna like have a preconceived notion of what you believe in. It's like, I don't know if you ever watch Kyle Kalinske and his show
Yeah.
Secular Talk. It's like his
Oh yeah.
show Secular Talk is the most like atheistic, oh, I'm like a militant atheist type of thing possible, or The Majority Report. It's like, all of these shows have dumb names, but people just accept the names and then they move on from it.
Yeah. No, I think leaning in. I mean, it's ironic leaning into the joke.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I thought it was a good ending when I saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, my mod's right. There's nothing wrong with being uninformed as long as you're willing to try to get informed.
Yeah, there's way too many people posing as completely informed and experts on topics or not. And there's too many. There's a lot of people that feign being dumb or uninformed, while clearly having an agenda.
Oh yeah. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie and say that I don't have an agenda, but I
Of
think
course.
everyone has an agenda.
Right. I guess a bad
Right.
agenda is what I'm talking about.
Genetically modified skeptic. It's like that's another YouTube channel. It's insane. But anyway, yeah, uninformed is a little bit self-deprecating, but I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Um,
Yeah, I used to be big time in that space. I've never heard of that guy you just mentioned, but
yeah, he's like another kind of atheist guy.
I used to watch like Shoe on Head and her ex-boyfriend a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I could talk for a long time.
I've reacted to a few of Shuan Head's videos, and I got absolutely
I
slaughtered in
noticed,
my
yeah.
comments. Anyway, so what are your thoughts about the about Luigi Mangione?
Luigi Mangione. Man, I actually spent a lot of yesterday on one of those TikTok live debates we were talking about a little while ago.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
and they were debating the what. Like the thing is, I don't even
the
know
prompt.
what there is to talk about. I mean, it's funny. It's fun. It's kind of funny that like
Yeah,
someone that rich and powerful got killed, and then everyone's freaking out about it. But like, if the guy is linked with the gun and the bullets, there's not a debate about whether he did it or not, and
no.
he's gonna go to prison. So
The
I
prompt
I
was
don't even
whether
know
he
what
was
there
a
is.
hero or not.
Oh, a hero.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Yeah. Well. Okay. My position on it is like, what he did is essentially meaningless, right? They
Sure.
literally, like a few days later, they got another CEO. And I don't think that murking CEOs is going to change healthcare policy in this country. But it did spark, it's like a spark inside of like a dry forest where it lit like a small little action like that lit kind of a wildfire. And now there's this huge discussion of how horrible healthcare is in the US.
Yeah.
And while I personally don't think that really this conversation is going to change anything, like the conversation by itself is not a mechanism towards change. What's a mechanism towards change is like groups, and probably progressive groups, because that is the progressive position, like changing healthcare. The mechanism towards change is progressive groups getting politicians to adopt policies that are going to materially change people's healthcare. Like just talking about it online, or just putting like a smiley face emoji next to someone like thoughts and prayers for Brian Thompson, that's not going to do anything. I think my biggest takeaway from this whole scenario is that there are a lot of people fed up in this country, and the glimmer of hope that I'm getting out of this situation is that politicians can see all of the like uprising online and in person, like to be fair, and be like, okay, a lot of people support this, a lot of people are angry. Maybe I can like bend my policies to try to match that, and try to actually create policies that are going to help these people out, rather than just being like, oh, we'll have another public option, but it's like super shitty. Like I don't know. I think that this shows that there is an appetite for a dramatic change in the healthcare system.
Yeah, on both sides.
Right, exactly. It's a bipartisan issue, and I mean, I don't know if you've been following my content lately when I've been talking about like if people are too woke or not, but essentially my argument is that it doesn't matter how woke you are. If you are advocating for truly popular and populist policies that are going to offer wide sweeping change and affect everyone, people are going to vote for that. There's going to be Republicans that voted for Trump that are going to come out and vote for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like ballot issues this election. Minimum wage, stuff like that in red states had the votes.
Mangione's defense attorney.
If you put progressive
Right.
policies
Exactly.
on the ballot, everyone's going to vote for them. It's really just a an aesthetics thing for a lot of people on the right.
It's an aesthetics thing, and I think the Democrats really suffer in terms of their propaganda sucks. And the other thing is, like,
Absolutely.
there's only so far Democrats can push their propaganda when they are beholden to their share, to, like, not their shareholders, but beholden to their donors who are
Of course.
shareholders. And if you offer populist, like truly populist agendas, that hurts the people that donate to the Democrats, and then the Democrats would get less money. And so, like, don't get me wrong, the Democrats are 100% better than Republicans. I honestly can't think of a single policy where Republicans are better than Democrats on,
Yeah.
but they're essentially the same thing in terms of both Democrats and Republicans just want to uphold this system of corporate oligarchy where our corporations basically like have their hands up our politicians' asses and are just puppeting them around.
Yeah, something that I hadn't thought about until I mean, not thought about, but it was just articulated in a way that really hit me. Was just like Kamala and the DNC, they don't benefit if they win the election, but they do benefit if Trump wins the election. And so there's like not a whole lot of incentive to really fight.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to think about. It's like essentially the Democrats are like they benefit a little bit as in terms of they get their like brand name out there, but when you don't actually care about solving
As private
any
citizens,
issues,
though,
yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Right. Like they would just care about kind of their legacy. Like Joe Biden's final actions has been all about his legacy. And yeah, I just
flushing it down the
there's
toilet.
no real I mean when you're just a career politician and you don't have any real ideology to drive your actions, then of course you're going to be complacent in a loss. Like the campaign consultants get paid the same amount. Kamala Harris can just run again for California governor in 2 years or try to run for the Senate or the president in 4 years. Like she's fine. She's rich as hell. She was the vice president. And yeah, so it's rough all around, and our system really doesn't help it really doesn't help that our system does pretty much not allow for a third party at all. Like it's a extremely binary system.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my take on the United Assassin is, I mean, I agree with you. It's definitely not like the shot heard around the world. It's not going to spark a revolution. But I think that it's 1,000 times more productive to, no pun intended, put your sights on, CEOs and people with actual power than it is to, open fire in a public place or at a school.
Yeah.
I
don't think shooting a school is productive at all.
No, but that's the thing. Like, that's been our brand of gun violence in this country, and I think I don't know. I think maybe Luigi took a page out of Japan's playbook, and I think. I don't know. Again, no gun violence is good, but I prefer this, and I'd rather see this happen again than another school shooting in a month or whatever.
Yeah, like, is it like a refreshing mix-up to gun violence in this country? Yeah, I would say so, but I just don't think
nice palate cleanser.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good palate cleanser, and like I was watching this show called the Day of the Jackal. It's like a show about an assassin. I was like in the midst of watching that, and then I hear on the news some guy gets like gunned down in broad daylight in the middle of the street. I'm like, oh my god, this show's real. No, but like, is it better than school gun violence? Yeah, and it did spark like a nationwide conversation about healthcare in this country.
It's healing the nation.
Yeah, but I just like people that want to call him a hero or pay for his legal bills. Like, it really just smacks to me of people are so desperate and they have so little actual institutional power that when they see someone taking some kind of power back from the system in like the most meager way possible, like killing one person isn't going to change anything. Like,
Right.
let's just be clear about, even though he was the CEO, they can get another CEO that's going to do the exact same thing as what Brian Thompson
Mhm.
did. It's just a meaningless victory that people see over this corporate bureaucracy that has been ruining their lives. And
Yeah, we don't
the
have a lot to cling on to.
right, it's just like it's a little bit, even though it did spark conversation, to me it's a little bit distracting because that's not the way that you make change in this country.
Unfortunately, yeah, yeah. And I totally agree, but like a lot of the people that I was listening to yesterday just really kept coming back to, violence is never acceptable. Just, the Josh Shapiro line.
Oh yeah.
Um, while signing missiles.
Oh right.
Um, it's just like, I don't know. And again, I mean, nothing. I'm sure everyone's already heard people say this, but like top down violence is normalized and acceptable, and bottom up violence is not. And
Yeah,
it
that's
was very
100% true.
heartening to see everyone sort of, quote unquote, everyone come together on this. But I mean, the usual dweebish bootlickers were still, out and about. Um, like someone someone on Threads the other day was like, I wonder what the vibes would be like regarding the UnitedHealthcare assassin if he weren't a pretty white boy. And again, like, is it truly unifying uh, the left and the right? No, but there has been a momentary, moment we could take a breath, and where we weren't, at each other's throats, and it just really ticked me off seeing someone just like you've seen people. There was that article that was posted like, don't trade class war for the culture war or whatever it was. And it's
Yeah.
like, you're literally, we are finally focused on class, and you are doing your damnedest to bring it back to the culture war.
Yep, exactly. And that's what the culture war is. It's just a distraction for working class people
Mm-hmm.
to not actually target the people that are making their lives horrible.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree. I mean, it's just such a basic take. Like, yes, in America, if you do something, if you two people can do the same thing, and if their skin color is different, one of them's going to get less support. It's just like, everyone knows this. You didn't have to like remind us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, that was pretty much the level that everyone was operating on that debate yesterday.
So they were like criticizing people for supporting him because they say that you wouldn't support him if he was a different skin color.
I mean, basically, it was more just like, I don't know if it was directly criticizing people for supporting him. It was more so than it was just like someone trying to get clout off of uh, a take. I don't know, but
Yeah. Like again, I it's a sensational story, and so that's going to catch people's attention. It's a story that has relevance to a lot of people, so that's going to get people's attention, but
a lot of people are affected by the healthcare system.
right. But like
Everyone.
the the goal for everyone should be using all of this energy that this story has gotten and going to their politicians and being like, look at how many people are demanding change for the healthcare system. The healthcare system has failed people so much that they're even willing to cheer on the murder of a CEO because of it.
Yeah.
And like, there's so many politicians that just don't get it. Like, as you said, Josh Shapiro is like, violence is never acceptable. Dean Phillips has been on Twitter and he's like, people are supporting terrorism, or people are mad that we're killing terrorists, but they're supporting the killing of a CEO. It's like, dude, you're
Hate the false equivocations of this shit too.
right, and his priorities are just so backwards. Like, his when you get takes like that, it's so obvious that it's from the position of like corporate American imperialism is good. Everything that goes against that is bad. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's why you're getting so much pushback because for once corporate America was feeling threatened. And that's why all of their like propagandist talking heads are coming out being like, this was so bad, and if you support it you should feel bad, and you're like basically a criminal as well. Like, people
Yeah.
were so scared about the amount of support that it was getting online, or at least like the CEO getting post-mortem condemnation.
Right. I mean, it's good. They should feel scared. If anything, if
Right.
anything could come about it, it's maybe that these people will think twice.
Yeah. And like, should should people get gunned down in the streets? No, I don't believe in extrajudicial justice like that. But I do think that it is just a fraction of the violence that these health insurance companies have been responsible
Exactly.
for throughout their entire existence. And this is something that I talk about with like due to in terms of October 7th too, with Israel and Palestine, where
Mm-hmm.
Israel has had this system of oppression and apartheid and slow grinding colonization of Palestine, and they have systemic violence on their side. And then whenever there is this bit of pushback from the groups that they are systemically oppressing, then that gets all of the media attention. Because if it's
Right.
slow violence, every day a few more people die, every day a few more people get displaced, and over the years it adds up and it's thousands and thousands of people, then when in a single day all of that pressure finally bursts and there is a violent act of basically resistance, then that is what gets the media attention. And that's like a huge example, in my opinion, of just like systemic injustice and how the media talks about it. And I think it's like the exact same thing with the UHC CEO getting killed, where he is responsible for literally like probably I don't know how. Okay, at least thousands of deaths. Like,
Sure. At the very least.
also you have to also factor in the amount of suffering he's caused from people that can't afford to get surgeries they need, but they're pushing it back, and that's like a dramatic quality. That's a dramatic drop in the quality of life that these people are experiencing, like under his
Absolutely.
rule. And when there is any kind of violent pushback against that, that is what gets all of the media attention. But the thousands of deaths that is systemic to like the country we're living in, that doesn't get any attention because that's baked into the system.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the proportionality is it's ridiculous when you see people, bootlicking for these motherfuckers, whether it's Israel or the CEO. I mean, like, I think I heard last year that like the October 7th attack was like basically every skirmish between Hamas and Israel's basically sort of had like a 1 to 10 like ratio, like how much IDF is killed by Hamas versus the other way around. And this was like the first time that it was like comparable. Like this was the most they had ever accomplished
Yeah.
in one scenario. And yeah, just like I just don't understand how people can be so baby brained about this shit. Like when the proportionality is so out of skew, and you're just like, well, you know what? Murder is bad no matter what. And then saying that while living in this country with like you said, the healthcare system killing or depleting the quality of life of its citizens, cops murdering people in the street, uh, you know, the wages not being raised
Mm-hmm.
uh, to match costs of living. All these things that are grinding us down without even bringing the military industrial complex into it. It's just I don't understand how people can be so blind.
Well, it's
um,
like it's basically a brainwashing system where
yeah, absolutely.
you grow up, you're told that all of these institutions are right, proper, there's a reason for their existence, and you are not really encouraged to question that at all. And then it's hard for people to recognize the actual violence that these systems, these institutions that we've grown up with, are actually causing. And yeah, and so
There
people are
was
tired of it.
someone on the debate yesterday brought up a fantastic point. He was born in 1990, so he's our generation, and he was basically saying how our understanding of what is and is not acceptable violence is so warped and black and white because of the fact that when we were in school, we were, that we had our schools had a zero tolerance policy for bullying, but also a zero tolerance policy for fighting back against a bully for any sort of violence. So if someone kicks your ass on the playground and you hit them back once, you're both punished the same way, and that has instilled in us this notion that literally there is nothing that can be done to you. There's no form of violence that can be done to you that it is acceptable for you to do violence back, to defend yourself in any way, and it's like neutered us.
Yeah. Yeah, and
And
that's like a small example, but it's kind of emblematic of the larger issue where again, any kind of violence that goes against people's sensibilities is like completely unacceptable.
yeah, yeah. Like I remember I was watching the when H3 had Loner Box on. I was watching that live, and when AB spoke up, because Loner Box was being completely one sided. And he brought up the fact that what we're talking about. Anytime that people in Palestine are standing up, fighting back, the onus is all on them, and they can be killed and starved any day of the week. No one bats an eye. And his fucking, I mean, I've heard, this was the first time that I'd ever been live in the chat for H3, and I through this whole Hassan Ethan debacle, you keep hearing people say that, and I'm sure it's true, that H3's audience, it has been leaving in droves, and they really disagree with him, and obviously I can't. There was definitely people commenting that didn't have a lot of comment history on his channel, so maybe they were Destiny viewers or whatever. I'm not sure, but the fact that they were just like their immediate response to someone just saying, "Hey, AB, good for you for standing up for yourself," was like, "Is there no violent act that you will condemn? Is every act of violence okay? Like, it's just everything is so black and white. It feels like people are." It's either ignorance or these people are knowingly being obtuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah, and it's even worse in black and white, where they'd condemn any kind of violence, because people that are people that have a fixation on these Islamic resistance groups will point to their charters and say that they're anti-Semitic, or they'll point to their flag and say it's anti-Semitic, or they'll point to their treatment of gay people and call them barbaric. But they are completely unwilling to aim any kind of critical gaze upon Israel, who is just as Islamophobic as these other groups. And I would say they're more Islamophobic than Hamas is anti-Semitic, because like Israel literally gives special privileges to Jews that are living in Israel versus other types of people. And Israel is extremely undemocratic right now. Netanyahu's been in power for I don't know how long, like seems like
30 plus years.
Yeah, I mean, he's been powerful for a long time. I don't know how long he's been president, but like, and then also, if we just talk about the amount of violence that Israel's doing, there is no comparison between the amount of violence that Israel does versus any of these other resistance groups, because Israel has the backing of the United States and the UK and pretty much the entire Western world. And these other groups have Iran backing them. They get like a few missiles from Iran all the time. And it's worse than just saying violence is bad and you should never be violent against it, because it is turning a blind eye.
No, because they're crossing their fingers behind their back.
Yeah.
They absolutely support systemic violence, just not, anything else. Oh shit. Yeah, and you brought up, not having, maybe the most, the best social beliefs or whatever. And I think you covered that, the fact that it's fucking impossible to advance, social policies under that, under the amount of when you're living in a fucking concentration camp, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
And how people like Bill Maher will, basically say, okay, well, these people don't like, they don't like fuck with gay people or trans people.
Like so
it's okay. Right. Yeah. So it's okay to bomb them into oblivion. But in the same breath, we'll say that, we're too woke and we have to reach across the aisle and shake hands with MAGA. Like,
yeah, right.
That's if we can bomb them for being homophobic, why aren't we bombing fucking,
right?
I don't know, the South? Or
what
whatever.
Even is the argument that you can bomb them, or they don't have a right to sovereignty? They should be oppressed because they have homophobic views, because they treat women as like they oppress women. It's like, have you looked at what the Republican Party is trying to do?
Exactly.
Yeah, yesterday I had a conversation with the Soy Pill, and I was talking, and because we were talking about, like, why do men like Republicans? Why do men go to conservative policies? And I'm like, well, conservative policies, both in their propaganda and what they're actually offering, do empower men over women. And he's like, I don't know if they really offer any policies, but it's like, if you ban abortion, and if you ban abortion, you ban birth control, that is disempowering women and forcing them into relationships with men that they may or may not want. JD Vance,
you'll be trapping them.
He has called for a ban on no-fault divorces, so he wants to make it harder for women to get out of marriages. Republicans want child marriage to be legal. So it's like all of these things are just set up to try to subjugate women as much as possible. I mean, there's one side of the aisle that wants to disenfranchise women from being able to vote, and it's not it's not Democrats, it's Republicans. Right. It's like, sure, Republican rhetoric might appeal to men because Republicans are like, women are so stupid, am I right, fellas? And then you'll get like dumb teenagers and be like, yeah, women never talk to me. The girls in my class never talk to me. They never give me any attention. So they're going to listen to, I don't know, Andrew Tate. And just follow these 3 steps and you can have a girlfriend. they'll be like, all right, I'll do it. And yeah, it's like our country treats women bad, and they want to treat, and like the Republicans want to treat women even worse. And Republicans also hate trans people, they also hate gay people. And then you get these arguments from smug liberals like Bill Maher who say that
Like, yeah.
Hamas would throw a trans person off the roof. So why are you supporting them if you're trans or if you're gay?
And I've seen them admire that. Like, I've literally seen extremists on the right look at supposed, gay people being thrown off roofs in Palestine or whatever and be like, damn, I wish we could do that. And this is a scenario where it is more than appropriate to bring identity politics into it. If you are brown and or Muslim and have shitty beliefs on gender and sexuality, it is okay to dehumanize you. But if you're white, well, it's just your religious beliefs or what have you.
Oh yeah, that's for sure true as well. And then, yeah, it's identity politics. It's saying that, like, since you're brown, then you should be oppressed. And then the other thing that I think is hilarious is that conservatives actually do kind of like Al Qaeda. They just don't want like these Muslim extremist groups to have any kind of power because it's just racism. But if you look at the beliefs, they're actually extremely similar. And there's this religious podcast that I listen to every now and then to just make fun of it. And it's these like extremely fundamentalist like Catholic guys. And the guy has said in the past, like multiple times, I'd rather have my kid grow up and join Al Qaeda than become an atheist because at least then he believes in something. And it's like,
Christ.
I'm not surprised by this, but I'm kind of surprised you're saying it.
That you're admitting it, yeah. That's wild. I mean, there's also, you brought up Andrew Tate. Like, there's this weird trend of like white guys becoming Muslim because they think it gives them a pass to be to want to oppress women or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Okay, I'm gonna send you this link. This is an Instagram post that Ted Cruz did, where he's looking at the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. And
it's such a cute picture.
In his Instagram, he says, "Very cool. This is the actual 19th Amendment, which passed the Senate 105 years ago today." And it's just like you look at all of the comments, and they're all like, "We need to repeal this." So one of them is an extremely important amendment, and then directly underneath that, it's like, yeah, not sure about that one though. If we repealed it, we would have better election results. However, it is politically smart on Ted's part to post this to win female voters. Remember when we didn't need two incomes to live comfortably and raise kids? Those were the days.
Holy crap. Yeah, not sure about that one though.
I know.
No amendments are absolute. This one must be repealed.
Oh yeah, I just saw that one. It's so crazy.
Asterisk ahistorical.
We wouldn't have the problems if that was never passed.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, this will be the third time I've brought this up since the election, but I have a friend whose best friend is a school teacher who, after the election, or maybe leading up to it, I'm not sure, came up to her and asked her, like, why did we let women vote? And this is a fucking third grader.
Oh my God, that's so crazy.
I really can't wait for like a retrospective, like 20 years on from now, like where we're learning about like the true, like the scope of the damage that people like Tate, Nick Fuentes.
Well, JD Vance is in the same vein as that. He's pretty much like he's a born again Christian, and because of those fundamentalist worldviews, he is really in favor of disenfranchising women. I mean, he already has been public about wanting to get rid of no-fault divorce, which is a horrible idea.
I can't believe I haven't heard that until now.
Yeah, he's like on all of those podcasts he did before he was nominated as the vice president. And then he's also talked about how families should have more, like parents should be able to vote for their kids. And when you
I did hear that.
Right, and that's essentially, like, he went on that whole tirade against childless cat ladies, right? Saying that
Right.
people without children have less of a stake in the future of this country. And so essentially we shouldn't be represented by childless people in one of my mods just said JD Vance is my least favorite drag queen.
Oh my god, dude.
No,
He's him and Gates are so yassified, it's crazy.
oh my god. No, but where was I? He wanted to get rid of no fault divorce. He wanted
Right.
to like not he wanted to essentially make life worse for people that didn't have children. And then he's also talked about how if you are if you're like parents and you have two kids, you should have more votes because you have more of a stake in this country. So you should be able to vote for your children. And it's like, that's fucking stupid. People should have just as much stake in this country as people with kids. Like, people without kids have just as much of a stake in this country as people with kids. And B, it's like, you can see that this is what Republicans do whenever they want something that is unpopular. So with abortion, they're like, we're just going to bring it back to the states. And then as soon as Roe versus Wade was overturned, Lindsey Graham was like, all right, here's my 15 a week national abortion ban. It's like, great. But so like, obviously they're lying. And then JD Vance, when he says, we don't want to take away votes for women or votes for people that don't own land or don't have kids, what we want to do is just give extra votes to those people that do have kids, that do own land. And it's like, as soon as you start down that road, you begin, I mean, automatically it is disenfranchising people that don't have
Yeah.
children. Like, if you're a parent, all of a sudden your voting power is doubled. And once you start opening up that road of like changing people's voting power based off of different aspects, like, it's just a hop, skip, and leap away from saying only someone that owns land can vote. And then that gets rid of women, that gets rid of poor people.
Yeah.
And then you're like pretty much back to where they want it to be, which is just a Christian theocracy.
Yeah, and you know, it's always about, I guess, finding if you whittle it down to the right demographic, maybe then they'll finally have the majority.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the Republicans' election strategy is to just try to get as many people as possible to not vote.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm just reading this Ted Cruz comment. This is a woman writing this. I think Ted Cruz is doing a great job in fighting for conservatives for all Americans, not just Texans. However, I do have to agree with others here that since too many women don't vote conservative, like the women in my family, America would probably be way better off if just men could vote. This is so crazy, dude. Okay, sorry, I cut you off.
No, I mean, really quick. I mean, how fucking cucked is it that he got reelected? I mean, Trump winning, whatever. But the fact that Texas reelected this man who goes on vacation every time they're on the brink of fucking of an apocalypse. I just don't understand. Texans blow my mind. No, honestly, I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah. Well, yeah, in terms of like the election, man, it's just, to me, it's just so obvious. Democrats keep trying to be the light version of Republicans. And it just doesn't work when you say, I'm going to be really strong on the border, or I'm going to, like, I don't really support abortion all the way up to the end of pregnancy. I'm going to, like, have common sense abortion laws, or, like, oh, I don't support trans people, even though you said
I'm just gonna follow the law. Whatever the law says, I'm gonna follow it.
It's not you don't distance yourself from Republicans as much, and you're not offering any meaningful change. And so, like, if you want lifelong Republicans to want to vote for you, you need to offer them something. And that gets back to the UHC healthcare shooter, where that was a bipartisan issue, a dramatic overhaul of basically healthcare in this country. You need to get people on board with that dramatic stuff. Like, there's a reason why Bernie Sanders got a lot of people that didn't support Kamala Harris, didn't support Hillary Clinton, to vote for him, because he was offering like dramatic change. And when you offer this change and you do kind of free yourselves from corporate donors, that makes you automatically way more sincere, way more authentic, and way more likable than someone like Kamala Harris or Hillary Clinton, who don't actually really believe in anything,
Right.
and they're just trying to say whatever they think is going to be the position that appeases the most amount of people.
Yeah, they think that, Trump is so crazy that if they can just appear normal, that's enough. When really, like, the simple fact of the matter is that, we disagree on what the right says the problems are in this country or how to fix them. But the simple fact of the matter is they acknowledge that there's a problem, and Kamala and the Democrats are trying. They're acting like, well, the economy's good, so everything's good,
Right. Yeah, that's
and
exactly it.
and um it's so early for me.
No, but
But
you're right. That's Donald Trump will say the economy is a problem, and I'm going to do this dramatic thing, and there's going to be a ton of change, and it's going to like your lives will be fixed. Kamala Harris will
that's
be
the
like,
key thing is change. People just want change,
yeah,
and they're unwilling to. They're not going to listen to anything else. They hear that someone's going to do anything and not just protect the status quo. That's enough for them.
mm-hmm,
And I mean, we don't need a left Joe Rogan. We need a left Trump. Is I mean, just someone who is genuinely. I mean, I guess we pretty much had that with Bernie, but I think we've squandered him. I don't think we'll
yeah,
ever have a chance at running him again.
yeah. I don't know. It's going to
Um,
be interesting going forward. Like the midterm elections are going to be really interesting to see what the Democrats run on. But like, yeah, that's something that I want to get more involved in is like political advocacy more at the local level. And I mean, that's
yeah,
something that I've been really pushing on my channel. It's not that people are too woke or people voted because of trans women playing in women's sports. It's the policies. People like we need to have more progressive policies, and we again when it goes back to like the culture war versus the class war. Who gives a fuck about the class war? Like people will only vote on the class war when there's no meaningful difference between the candidates on or people will only vote on the culture war when there's no meaningful difference on the candidates about the class war. Like at the end of the day, the culture war is just a distraction so that we don't actually unite and get any
right.
meaningful change in terms of like on the monetary amount on the monetary side of our
And that's
lives.
what's so annoying about post-election people saying that the Democrats were too woke when they really tried their best to be anything but. Like we said, they didn't speak up. They didn't say what kind of policies they would put in place to protect trans people or
Right.
you know police reform. And when if you focus on working class policies, it'll sort of, I mean, the most crucial dangers for marginalized people will be taken care of, and then everyone's elevated, and then we can talk about maybe the more you know heady cultural stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and then another thing that's just so funny is like that we're uninformed, but compared to the average fucking voter, there's like a vast abyss
No, it's insane.
in knowledge. I've seen people talk about it basically just completely unaware of like the implications that the abortion ban has beyond quote unquote your ability to murder your child. Like whether you view it that as murder or whatever, they have no concept of women dying, from how the fuck do you say that word? Ectopic pregnancies,
Yeah.
um, or just like complications during childbirth, where now doctors are having to second guess uh, prioritizing the life of the mother. They have
Mm-hmm.
no concept of this shit. I talked to someone last week who is a very proud, cringy, MAGA supporter who had never heard of DEI. And that
So
just
what?
blew it. Like
He thought it was just like people being racist against white people or something.
no, like literally had never heard the term. Like it's just I don't even know what it is they know about the person they support, because I feel like DEI was probably next to trans was probably the biggest uh fear mongering that Trump did in his campaign.
Yeah. I mean, what's crazy to me is like Republicans will fearmonger about this stuff and they don't actually offer any real solutions to improve people's lives. But like their base does want, like their base is basically a bunch of crazy fundamentalist evangelical Christians and then add in Catholics there too. But like they actually do, because for them the culture war is actually like a big deal. Like if
Right.
my kids come home with
It's
blue
heaven and
hair and
hell.
cut jeans, I'm gonna freak the fuck out and I'm gonna like disown them. They cannot get any tattoos, they cannot dye their hair blue, not even wear ripped clothes or have like a tank top on. That's like a big deal for them. So but like it's a aspect that they fearmonger over, but the Republicans actually do stuff. Like, have you been following the Supreme Court case at all where I think it was Louisiana is banning transgender care altogether, and then
Yeah.
people are suing, or they're like the federal government is doing a like saying that it's unconstitutional, and it's in the Supreme Court right now. But like they actually get, like, they did overturn Roe versus Wade, and no one thought they were going to do that because they thought it was just a position that they could fearmonger over.
Hmm.
Like, I know Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have been deporting more people than Donald Trump did during his time in
Hmm.
office, but he is probably going to set up like concentration camps of immigrants and actually rip families apart and deport American citizens. He probably will try to like denationalize children that were born here to immigrant parents that grew up as American citizens, but then they're going to be like, get that citizenship ripped away from them. And it's like, they're actually evil, but like they're effective in their evilness. And the Democrats need to have more of this effectiveness. Like, it's crazy. Because the rules, like our government is like a system of like rules and regulations and norms to try to hold everything together. But those
Right.
rules are
It's status
only
quo at all
there.
costs.
Right, exactly. The rules are only there insofar as they give you an excuse to not do things when you don't want to do them, and they're just, and then essentially they're there to be broken or to be worked around when you actually want to do something. So, yeah, like, and the Republicans know that. The Democrats don't know it.
Yeah. No, I mean they wield the law to their advantage, and they know exactly how to manipulate, and and the Democrats are just feckless. Uh, Also status quo defenders, but they the Republicans understand what their base wants, and the Democrats really don't.
Right. Yeah. And that's because at the end of the day, it's like the Republicans' base wants. I mean, the Republicans' base doesn't care if billionaires run this country as long as the billionaires say the right things, hate the right people to hate, and like support the Republican base, like prop them up as being better than everyone else, give them more rights. And the Democratic base does care if billionaires run this country. They care a lot. Like they hate billionaires. Um, and yeah, it's interesting. And it's like even though the Republican base does kind of care about the billionaires, in terms of like their lives are kind of shitty, they're still gonna vote for them if they're like again, if there is no difference in the politicians and who they're targeting, then the Republicans are going to vote based off of like the culture war and all of these people that Trump kind of activated who weren't really voting before, but they came out to vote for Trump because Trump had populist rhetoric. They wanted to vote for him. It's like those people probably can get swayed by the Democrats. I don't think that like the actual Republican base of like the wealthy evangelical fundamentalists that vote for abortion and vote for God, I don't think they're ever going to vote Democrat. But I do think that there is like a large section of the Republican voting bloc, or at least maybe not a voting bloc, but there's a large section of people that voted Republican that can be shifted towards voting for Democrat if you have like a truly progressive campaign to catch their attention.
I mean, like the people that we lost in the previous two elections, like the atheists that are becoming conservatives for some reason, the new age crunchy granola people, those people can be won back. I agree with you. The evangelicals are a lost cause and always have been. But there's definitely a lot of Christians in general, not evangelicals, that are winnable.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of Christians that are moderate. Like people just grow up as Christian and that's kind of like the norm for a lot of people, but it's not like an act. Even if you are actively Christian, there's like moderate Christians too where they're like, okay, well, like I can, even though I might not want to have an abortion, I can see how other people would be in a circumstance where it's medically necessary for them, or like they're not ready to have a child, and I'm like gonna vote for abortion in scenarios like that. Like I think that's a big thing. And then they want to be as like militant about banning gay people or trans people from public life. But
yeah, one phenomenon that's really perplexed me is these like dirtbag kind of like deadhead atheist types, like like EDM guys that are MAGA. Like they like drugs. They like like being a degenerate in general. They have no problem with like hookups. They they're ostensibly liberal in every way, but just for some reason, and also of course they're they're anti-vax, even though they're unafraid to put any other type of fucking drug in their system.
They're anti-vax.
That switch up is mind-boggling and needs to be studied.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not like too in depth in that kind of community, but like kind of the hippie mega crowd too, where they're like, I'm not gonna drink pasteurized milk because they put chemicals in it. I think it is a lot of like anti-establishment type of stuff, and also I think it's just like kind of sexism too. Like a lot of like more of those like hipster kind of like alternative guys. I do think that there is like a bit of incelness there too. I don't know.
Absolutely.
You might be able to speak on that more than I do, but
I think there's definitely crossover, but I think also the type of guys I'm talking about absolutely have no problem getting laid. Well, I mean that doesn't mean you can't be
right. That
an
doesn't mean that you're
incel in your
not
mentality.
sexist, but like
Yeah, no, for sure.
yeah, that's kind of like, I don't know, my general idea, but
I
yeah.
think there's a lot of guys too that like I had a friend that was like this, like back in high school. Like you remember when like, because I feel like for years and years and years, like woke has not been a phrase that we use, but like 10, 12 years ago, stay woke was like a huge thing.
Yeah.
Guys like that who were like super, like it's basically like they like feeling smart and they're contrarians. So,
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago, it was unpopular. Uh, it was, it was, yeah, it was unpopular to be woke. Now they perceive it as popular,
That's
so they
funny.
have to switch.
Yeah, that's funny to think about. Yeah, contrarian people, I don't know. It's like a first instinct, but then it kind of becomes a personality or like some kind of mechanism they use for socializing. It's just like an easy thing to fall into where you're constantly contrarian.
Yeah, you can just posture at a parties and seem cool, and
Right. Or
if
it's
you
kind
got your
of
own ideas.
reminds me of the vibe where it's not cool to be excited about anything.
Right, right. Yeah, that always pisses me off too. Is those same guys? They'll just shame you for caring about
Yeah.
anything.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, but in terms of that kind of like mega atheist crowd, I think there is like a lot of Islamophobia in there as well, where
Absolutely.
they'll target they'll target Islam a lot under the guise of being anti-theist. And while that's fair, it's like if you're in America, maybe criticize the power systems that are in America and not specifically this like micro minority of people. I think Muslim people in America is like 3% or something.
Mm.
But yeah, I think there is a lot of that. Like Sam Harris is extremely
Yeah.
Islamophobic, and I don't think he voted for Trump, but a lot of the guys that listen to Sam
No, he
Harris
called.
did
I
vote
think
for
he was
Trump.
really pissed at Joe Rogan for endorsing Trump.
Yeah, yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. But that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from there.
Yeah, among the more politically activated atheists, Islamophobia is absolutely a huge factor. But like the more apolitical ones, obviously passively, sure, Islamophobic, definitely don't have a problem with anything we've done over there. But it's not what drives them compared to guys like Sam Harris or Bill Maher.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
it's just like
I don't really like listen to that kind of stuff. Like, I'm kind of lucky.
I'm talking about people from my real life. Yeah, I
Oh,
don't listen to
okay.
people like that either. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm kind of lucky. Like all of the atheists that I kind of listened to that started off as atheist and kind of got more political. I mean, they are good at being progressive because they actually try to analyze things. And then I don't know, I feel like if you're honest and you analyze the world around you, you would end up as a progressive. Like Kyle
yeah.
Kalinske, his show is literally called Secular Talk. Matt Dillahunty, he had that the atheist experience, and now he is on this show called The Line. He's great. Who else is atheist? I don't know. Richard Dawkins, that's an example of someone who
Oof.
didn't end up in in a good spot.
That's been heartbreaking, honestly. I know that's actually not anything new, but when I was younger, I didn't know about his beliefs on trans people or Islam. That's been a
Right.
very heartbreaking arc for me because I fucking loved that man growing up.
Yeah, he was good growing up. But yeah, it's crazy. Transgender issues like really breaks people's minds. Like, did you watch any of my stuff on like Cenk Uygur and how he's been like anti-trans?
No, but I am aware
Yeah,
of that.
he's like arguing that we need to abandon trans women in women's sports because that's causing the election to be lost. And
I mean, he's been talking. Him and Anna have been talking about that for like 2 years now. That's
yeah,
what I mean. That's what started Anna's campaign to leave the left.
yeah, it's crazy.
Being called what was she so against being called
A birthing person.
yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts,
But
but
it's funny you bring that up because when we were initially talking about doing this, one of I was gonna ask you like, oh, like what was your political journey, and then because mine is very TYT influenced from a young age, and then I felt very personally attacked when you were like, yeah, no one wants to hear about your personal political journey. That's the most boring thing in the world. Which I mean, looking back, I agree. It's not very vital. But yeah, no, I fucking found those guys in like fourth grade.
yeah.
Um, uh, yeah, I mean the thing with like literally, unless I'm in the room with a friend that is trans, I am not I am not thinking about trans people apart from when transphobes are talking about them. Like I don't understand how it occupies so much space in their mind.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. It's just like the
You need to see
existence
these
of
people's
trans
search
people.
histories, honest.
Yeah, right. Like it could be a sexual thing. It could just be that they are so insecure about their position in the world that any kind of upsetting of like any kind of blurring of the lines of I'm a man, I need to have my wife be submissive to me at all times. Like men bring home the food, women take care of the kids and clean. And it's just like, okay, but I'm a trans woman, and they're like, that doesn't work, does not compute.
Yeah, and
But
so much of the like the people that I looked up to growing up, like I'm always big into music, and like people like Mick Jagger or David Bowie or Freddie Mercury, like people who were like famous for gender bending. Like it was to me, it was always such a like, wow, look how comfortable these guys are in their masculinity, that they'll like wear I think Mick Jagger wore like a sports bra on stage, just like they're like the that community, like rock and punk, like to me, I don't understand how we've gotten to a place where we think that like Republicans are punk rock.
I don't know. It's nuts. It is crazy.
It is. It's a mad. Ooh, baby, baby, it's a wild world.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a lot of fun, man.
Yeah. We went for an hour. Feel like it's
Hour
probably.
and a little over, yeah.
Oh yeah. We'll have to do this again down the line at some point.
Absolutely.
Maybe when another CEO gets killed.
Yeah, the sequel.
Yeah.
I mean, you were talking about making fun of bad podcasts and shit. That I love doing that. So if you ever want to do that.
Right. Yeah, and then the other thing that I wanted to do is like get a group of people that like that are content creators and like do apolitical stuff. Like your podcast is a good example of that, but like maybe I don't know. I'll keep thinking about that, but if you're down for that, then we'll definitely keep in touch.
I've got people that are like more like-minded, but their content is less politically bent. That would be good.
Okay, that's cool.
That I could put you in touch with. Go ahead and plug your stream and your YouTube and all that.
Yeah, so Uninformed Leftist on YouTube. Make a video every day, probably about like 2 hours, and then trying to like cut out some smaller content sections of that for people to digest if they don't have like 2 hours to devote to my stream and stuff. And then gonna be streaming at least once a week. Want to start streaming more, but it's fun to do it at once a week at the very least. And gonna be trying to talk to more people too. So check it out. It'll be fun. And
do you stream politics on YouTube as well?
Yeah, stream on YouTube.
Okay. All right, and I'm once again I'm the Village People.
Zach from the Village People.
Let's see. I think we're the Village People Pod on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and all of the links to the show are available at linktree.com/the Village People Pod.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for reaching out and having this conversation. It was fun, and definitely
thank you, man.
enjoy
I appreciate
bouncing ideas off of people.
Yeah, 100%. And thank you for carrying this episode.
Yeah. All right. Have a great rest of your day.
You too, man. Have a good rest of your stream.
See ya.
Bye, chat.
All right. Well, that was Zach from the Village People, and he's got a podcast that he does, which is pretty small. So maybe go over and give him some love. I'll probably like throw his link in the description of this stream later on, like when I'm done with it, honestly. But I did want to cover this because I saw this on Monday and this was insane. So we've got some more Ethan Klein stuff to do, and I don't know how crazy it is. I listened to the end of this podcast episode, and he said some stuff. So I think I'm going to try to go for like another 2 hours at most today. So stick around if you're here. Everyone relax, and we're just going to get into this. This is going to be a classic. Just like chill, listening to all of the bullshit that Ethan Klein has to say and then responding to it. So settle in. We're going to be in here for the long haul. But yeah, that was a fun conversation with Zach. He seems like a really cool guy. And honestly, if you guys want me to collab with other channels, I've been reaching out to a lot of people. Zach reached out to me. But like Soy Pill, I reached out to. I think I might be doing something with the Do Not Worry podcast. They're super chill, and I'd love to talk with them. Like, obviously, I talked to Bad Empanada before, and yeah, I'm just reaching out to a lot of different people, but you guys have been doing a good job of letting me know of, like, other people that haven't really been on my radar. But yeah. Yeah, like, the H3 views, I pulled up their, Social Blade. I mean, it's down 20,000 subscribers in the last 30 days. They're just hemorrhaging viewers, dude. And I know Ethan had that whole thing where he's talking about like our sub count is down 9%. Javier Millet, give me his email. Give me his email and I'll reach out to him. Oh my god. Bro, Neverfall, what do you have other than selling solar panels? Like, what is going on? Oh, you have solutions? That's what you have? You have solutions, but I don't have problems. Neverfall. But anyway, this is interesting. Yeah, total views weekly. So when I watched this yesterday, they only had like 100,000 views at the end of their episode, and now I guess a day ago it's gone up to like almost 500K. And they're talking about doing the last 30 minutes with members only. Please don't do the last 30 minutes with members only. I would love to be a member, but I'm a poor college student, and your 3 hours shows get me through life. I'm begging. Update, I did end up getting a membership because I want to support the crew, but I still don't think it would be a good idea to do it behind a membership wall. Wait, so he's a poor college student, or she, and they got forced into buying a membership for the crew to support him? Oh, you know what? I wanted to watch that Bad Empanada video. I'm actually gonna watch it right now. I don't know. Does it have spoilers for Ethan Klein's latest video? All right, let's just watch it. I wanted to watch it.
So Ethan Klein like uploaded a video that was called like when will Twitch deal with
Yeah, watching him live is extremely cringy.
When will Twitch take down this vile anti-Semitic channel or something like that? And I agree with Ethan Klein that anti-Semitism is really bad and platforms need to do more about it. So I'm going to denounce someone who has been engaging in blatant, disgusting anti-Semitism on his YouTube channel for years and years and years. And I'm going to expose and I'm going to ask YouTube, why don't you do anything about this? So the original title of this video on Ethan Klein's channel, it was, why is Twitch hosting this raging anti-Semite? And it had like a picture of the guy. I guess I don't know why he changed it. I'll bring it up. Why is Twitch hosting this raging anti-Semite? And now Ethan has changed the name of his video to why does nobody care? And he also changed the thumbnail. I don't know why he did that. It's honestly kind of weird. And I just want to say, I agree with Ethan Klein. No platform should host a
Wait, he really changed? Oh, sweet. Well, thanks, man. Yeah, poor college student gets an H3 membership to support Ethan Klein. So he's just like calling out specific tiny content creators now? Okay, whatever.
Raging anti-Semite. And that's why I'm going to denounce here a raging anti-Semite who has gotten away with anti-Semitism on YouTube for way too long. His name is Ethan Klein. And this video is going to be called, why is YouTube hosting this raging anti-Semite? So Ethan Klein has been a raging, disgusting anti-Semite for an...
So before we get into this, I do kind of want to make a compilation of Ethan being anti-Semitic because I think it's funny. But I don't know, like, okay, obviously before Ethan became super pro-Israel, like after October 7th, he had made some suspect comments about Jewish people, like saying, basically like making fun of ultra-Orthodox Jews and saying they smell bad or they're weird or whatever. He's also just made some So, like, that's bad. But I think that in the whole crash out with him versus Hassan, there's also a bad one here, too. A Bad Empanada will claim this video, or, I don't know. Honestly, if Bad Empanada claims it, I'll just reach out and ask him why, but whatever. Yeah, I just want to see... Like, Ethan's made some suspect comments about Jewish people in the past month and a half now, where he will say that, like, he'll obviously conflate Israelis with Jews. That's pretty anti-Semitic, to be honest. And then he'll, like, harass other people for being anti-Semitic. Like, I'm pretty sure Matt Lieb is a Jewish person. Felix Bitterman, he's Jewish, and Ethan is calling them anti-Semitic and them saying that they hate Jews. He says that Karl Marx is a communist. He's not a Jew. So he's like stripping away people's Jewishness when he doesn't like it, and he's applying people's Jewishness when it does serve to suit his purposes. How long ago I started streaming? Okay, 80 minutes, but like in terms of actual streaming, probably since like early October, I think was like the first kind of stream that I do. But I mostly just make videos and then post them. But I am trying to stream more.
Absurdly long time. Let us watch a video of Ethan Klein seeing some traditional religious Jews in the city of Jerusalem. You know, you go to Jerusalem, you'll see Hasidic Jews there. It's a normal thing. For Ethan, apparently, that's not really a normal thing. I'm showing this clip here to denounce the vile anti-Semitism of Ethan Klein. I endorse none of this, obviously. Let's check out Ethan Klein. Let's see what he's got to say about Jews. Let's see.
In Hebron. And it's the home of the Jew. The Jewy Jew, not just this Jew like, me or Ela. But this is home of the super Jew. The Jew, the dirty, grimy, jacket-wearing Jews. Real dirty-ass, nasty.
Why is YouTube hosting this vile anti-Semite? Why? Why is YouTube hosting this vile I need to know. Why is YouTube hosting this raging anti-Semite? Ethan Klein.
It's like, who can look more Jewish? Boom, boom, boom. It's like it doesn't end. I mean, come on.
But there's more. I bet you thought that was it. But there's more. This is a bit of...
So I'm just going to add some content here because we should be transforming this piece of content, right? So I'll add some commentary. But, like, there is a reason that... The thing is, Ethan Klein saying that the Jews he sees that are, like, visually Jewish, like, obviously Jewish, and him, like, shitting on those people, that is not any different from what he is doing now. Ethan hasn't changed in that regard. He hasn't suddenly been like, oh, now I'm gonna start wearing, like, I don't know what the long hair is called, or sorry, I'm not like Jewish at all, but he's not gonna start wearing that ultra orthodox getup and start going to he's not gonna start going to temple on like the high religious holidays or anything like that. He doesn't like those people because he thinks they give Jews a bad name, and it's the exact same reason why he doesn't like Netanyahu. He doesn't like the radical fundamentalists of Israel. He doesn't like the fact that they're settling the West Bank, because all of those actions serve to give Israel a bad name. And because, once again, Israel is trying to say that all Jews are monolithic, and if you criticize Israel, you're criticizing all Jews throughout the world. Ethan will see the stuff that, like, the more crazy fundamentalist Jews are doing and say they should stop that because it's making the rest of us non-Zionist liberal Jews look bad. So pretty much everything that Ethan has been doing has been in service of trying to make liberal Zionists look good. He likes liberal Zionism. He likes the fact that Israel is an apartheid state. It's an ethno-state for Jewish people. And if you're Jewish, you can go to Israel. You can live there. You have dual citizenship. Ethan Klein likes all of that. What he doesn't like doing is the stuff that makes Israel look bad. Also, never fall. Like, stop posting that shit. You're gonna be. Can someone time him out? I don't want him to derail the chat like this. Like, what the hell is going on? How many mods do I have in here? Time this guy out.
Of an obsession for Ethan. He loves to talk about those guys a lot. Ethan, he even has a clip on his channel. Ethan Klein on the Jewish community. Jesus. One segment of this is called Jews in Israel, and the next segment is called Inbreeding. So let's see what Ethan Klein has to say about this.
Say to that.
I mean, well, I've lived in Israel for 5 years, so they wear the suits, they got the hats, they don't shower nearly enough. When it's 1,000,000 degrees outside, they rock the black suit. They stink, bro. They stink, and you know they don't shave. You've seen their face. Imagine what their dicks look like.
Wait, I always thought those were like fake.
Fuck. Dude, what the hell? Why are you thinking about their dicks, Ethan? That's not normal. Dude, like, I lived in Buenos Aires, where there are a lot of Hasidic Jews, and like, you know, sometimes you see them on the subway when it's really hot or something. You know what I think? You know what, like, the normal human thing to think there? It's not like, how does this negatively affect me? It's like, man, they must be fucking hot. That looks horrible. You know, I feel sorry for them that they have to wear that shit in the fucking raging heat in the subway. But Ethan Klein sees them and he's like, I wonder how that dick smell. I wonder if they wash that. Dude, that's so fucking bizarre. This is I don't know. It's the anti-Semitic mind. We can't really understand it. Again, why is YouTube hosting this raging
Oh my god, this video is hilarious. Okay, so just more to add comedy to transform this. Yeah, do I need to have a sign on this channel that says no soliciting? I did not expect to get solicited to buy solar panels in my fucking live stream. But yeah, anyway, like, again, this is just more examples of Ethan's hypocrisy. He literally calls out Hassan for saying that, like, all of the ultra-Orthodox Jews are gonna get their inbred asses drafted into the army. Like, they have these political beliefs that, I mean, okay, I don't know if it's the ultra-Orthodox community that is really pushing for the expansion, but it's like very Zionist people that are pushing for the expansion of Israel. They have these beliefs, and these guys are getting drafted into the IDF because of it. So, and then Hassan is like, oh, they're inbred. And Ethan is like, they're dirty smelling, they're dirty Jews, they're the super Jews. And he gets so mad at a clip of Hassan saying they're inbred because that's causing anti-Semitism. But it's like, okay, but you're going to be making all of these comments about how dirty these guys are.
Anti-Semite Ethan Klein of H3H3 Productions. Let's keep watching. Let's see what else he's got to say about what he called, like, smelly. I'm not even going to say it because I might get, like, incorrectly action for quoting him.
No.
It's so funny how he has, like, a video next up, H3H3 podcast highlights, exposing fresh and fits blatant anti-Semitism, and then he just has on the same channel Ethan Klein on the Jewish community. It's fucking Mein Kampf.
Real?
Those aren't extensions.
Those are real.
Those are all.
That is commitment. I guess, you know, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it.
Their faces look so gnarly. So imagine what these dudes look naked, and they're all pretty fat, too, because that wife's at home cooking. That's all she does.
Not all fat.
Well, a lot of the ones you see are pretty chunky.
This is so fucking weird. They're just, like, analyzing the bodies and the dress of random people they see in the street. Just because they're Jewish. He hates them because they're Jewish. Ethan Klein is a fucking raging anti-Semite being hosted on the YouTube platform, and that's unacceptable.
Can we get a picture?
Yeah, let's see this.
Yeah.
I'll be the judge.
Can we get who are these other people too? These other people who are with them just, like, listening to this, like, laughing at it? Why are these raging anti-Semites all on the YouTube platform?
Oh no.
Judge about how hot they are.
Harry.
No spoilers,
asked for it.
chat.
Can we get a picture? Let's get a picture of, like, a random Jewish guy to look at and gawk at. What the fuck is this?
Hasidic Jew.
So Eric, what about you, man?
My tooth hurts.
You know, I typed that, and the first thing that came up is Jewish porn.
What?
I typed fat, hairy,
Ashkenazi
Hasidic
Jewish
Jew.
porn?
Well,
I want to say Hasidic Jewish porn.
I guess
It's based on, you know,
there's
your
something
searches.
far from
Guys, I have an update about the Amish being inbred.
I can't believe I broke that.
I mean, I
Does
can't.
anyone want to hear this?
I'm
really?
hesitant.
Oh, wait, you found out?
Yes.
Real hesitant.
Okay, let's
Since
do it.
almost all Amish descend from about 200 18th century founders, that's crazy.
Wait, so Ethan's literally making the argument that he then criticized Hassan for making, that, like, the Hasidic Jews are inbred? And he said that's anti-Semitic when Hassan says it. And I know he's talking about the Amish, but I'm sure it's going to relate to the Jews.
Genetic
the
disorders
Hasidic
that
Jews.
come out due to inbreeding exist in more isolated districts. So that means, Dan, that the people who are more isolated, they can't find other Amish from other communities to rub
Amish?
dicks with. Or, not dicks, because probably being gay is not cool with the Amish. And also you can't reproduce.
Why is he saying Amish? I've never heard anyone say Amish before. Bro, what? Yeah, also, like, this is the most American thing you can do. Being a fat, gross little guy and saying that other people are fat and gross. It's like, this is America's favorite pastime. Being fat on your couch and calling other people fat. Also, like, now he's gonna say that they're inbred. It's so perfect. Like, Ethan, even though he lived in Israel, he is 100% American.
When you rub dicks.
Wait, what the?
Amish from other communities to rub dicks with. Or, not dicks, because probably being gay is not cool with the Amish. And also you can't reproduce when you rub dicks. Go ahead, Dan.
What was the Please, question?
Dan.
Sorry,
Dan,
what?
to you, Dan. Yes. Dan, that's your
I don't
cue.
know what the question was.
Well, Ethan mercifully got up and left before finishing whatever the fuck that was. So let's look at another Ethan Klein moment.
That was crazy.
Where he called for a Jewish man to be killed in a new Holocaust. Let's watch this one.
I was just going to say, if there's another Holocaust and people start rounding up I just say, if they start rounding up the Jews again, I hope Ben gets gassed first.
Why is this vile anti-Semite being hosted on YouTube? Why is YouTube hosting this vile, raging anti-Semite? Why, YouTube? Does anyone actually believe that Ethan Klein legitimately gives a shit about anti-Semitism when he was being just blatantly, openly anti-Semitic for like all the fucking time, up until like a year ago? He has been just blatantly, openly anti-Semitic in disgusting ways. Like, he talks about fucking Hasidic Jewish dicks for some reason. He asks, I wonder how smelly their dicks are. And that guy has the fucking goal to upload videos called, why is Twitch hosting this raging anti-Semite about someone else? Why is YouTube hosting this raging anti-Semite? Why is YouTube hosting this vile anti-Semite who is now pretending to give a shit about anti-Semitism, who is pretending to be a victim when he lives in a fucking mansion in Beverly Hills? Why is this raging anti-Semite being hosted on YouTube? You see those drums? Those are the anti-Semitism alarm drums that we're hearing right now, and they're going fucking crazy about Ethan Klein's anti-Semitism. They don't lie. Listen to him. The anti-Semitism detection drums clearly do not like Ethan Klein.
The anti-Semitism protection drums. Yes, there is nothing wrong with being fat. It is not a morality issue. And when someone uses it as like an insult against a group of people, and I mean, it's ironic that Ethan is using it as an insult against the Hasidic Jewish community. It's just like it's something that like it's the pot calling the kettle black, right? It is Ethan criticizing other people for their looks, and it's just the most ironic thing you can do, pretty much, as an American. And that Americans by and large are fat phobic, yet while being fat at the same time. So all right, let's continue this. So this was Ethan on Monday. Yeah, let's just get into it.
All right, let me talk about my other haters. They're all breathing easy, but they're more than just Jake Weddle out there. Everybody's coming for me this week.
Weddle.
Weddle bitch, more like. Look at this. There's a subreddit. This is like basically just an H3 snark subreddit. This post has, from 8 hours ago, has 2,100 likes. It is a screenshot from the recent Ethan Klein video I made about the anti-Semitic streamer. And it's titled...
Wait, so Ethan is saying that r/YouTube drama is an H3 subreddit? Is that true? r/YouTube drama. I mean, let's just take a look at this. I mean, this is gonna be a long, man. So this channel this is, show NSFW content. Is this safe for YouTube? Okay. Looks safe to me. I don't know. Am I missing anything? just throws YouTube short streams of IDK animated characters just being what the fuck? So JCS, just general conversation about YouTube drama. H Bomber Guy. No unrelated discussions of Israel-Palestine. Okay. Rainbow Six. I'm just going to scroll until I hit an H3 post. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, here we go. So, it was the 8th post down, and this is basically an H3 snark. Man, this guy, Ethan does have a pretty inflated ego, I would say. But yeah, it's from this very scientific study we did, it's 1/8 of an H3 snark Reddit. So I guess Ethan is partially right.
Ethan Klein revealed he had folders of evidence and TOS violations for people he didn't like, such as Ludwig, Denims, and Sanchovies. And this is literally all there is just this.
Why did none of them point out the Jay Leno 2024?
Yeah.
The video that I just made, like, it's so obviously just a videos folder. Also, I made a video about Ludwig. Like, I'm not hiding anything. I made a fucking video about him. Yeah, I have a video folder that has the projects and the assets in it. That's how you do that.
Right.
But there's nothing here. It just says for Jay Leno, Ludwig, and video. I don't know what this was. Probably for one of the who the fuck is Sanchovies? I don't even know who that is. I know who Denims is, obviously. But whatever these were, earlier this week, you can even add it up. This was part of probably one of the Hassan videos I did a few weeks ago. I don't know. Yeah, fuck these. Yeah, I'm doing research on this stuff. You could just go to my... Why are they...
Wait, so it's Ethan Klein revealed that he had folders of evidence and TOS violations for people he didn't like, such as Ludwig, Denims, and Sanchovies. And then Ethan's like, yeah, so what? So he agrees with the post. Like, what's the issue here? He just doesn't like that people are acting like it's a gotcha, like people discovered it. He's like, yeah, I'm openly targeting these people for terms of service violations. I'm openly trying to get them banned.
Pitching this like it's some crazy grand conspiracy. And why did they even say
yeah, I don't really know.
Service violation? Where did that even come from?
I think because the names of those files say TOS and then somebody's name.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, I don't know where that's from. I didn't.
TOS list. TOS list Denims and TOS list Sanchovies. I also have no idea who Sanchovies is though, so I don't know.
Google it. I'm sure it's somebody I know. Probably.
This is Twitch streamer.
Sanchovies were they part?
So Ethan made the files, right? TOS list Denims, and Ethan made the files, but he doesn't know what TOS means. I'm like, it seems like the person accurately described what Ethan was doing with these files. And then Ethan's like, why are you making it such a big deal? Of course I'm going to take down videos of people I don't like. It's like, they just posted an observation. I don't know, man. I feel like I don't understand this drama because why is Ethan reacting this way to it? If it's an accurate representation of what you're doing, like Ethan's like, yeah, you accurately represented what I'm doing. Why are you getting so mad about it? If it's an accurate representation of it, why even bring it up on your Like, isn't the point of bringing it up on your podcast to disprove it? You're just accepting it. You're just accepting that it's like, oh, they're in his downloads folder. Oh, so he's just, okay. So he's getting clips from other people. I mean, we know who he's getting clips from, right? It's from Destiny, right? So he's getting clips from other people, downloading TOS list Denims, TOS list Sanchovies. He doesn't even know who these people are, but he's downloading all of this content to try to create videos about them. And like some other people got caught in this, like some other people caught strays, right? Like Sanchovies, he doesn't know who that person is, but he knows who Denims is, and he might make a video about her. So that's okay. That's so funny. I didn't realize they're in his downloads folder. Wait, let's see. Yeah, it is downloads. Ethan downloads. So he downloaded all of these video files from someone, and now he's getting called out for it. And he's like, I don't even know what these are. While simultaneously being like, of course I'm going to have like opposition content against these people because I'm making opposition videos against them. So this segment, I mean, it's so ironic. He's mad that people are calling him out for having this content and like basically trying to get these people banned, right? and he's mad about it, that they're calling him out for it. And he's like, I'm going to bring it up to say that it's not a big deal. But in the process of bringing it up to say it's not a big deal, he's making it into an even bigger deal than what it already was.
And the, you know, assets in it. That's how you do that.
Bro, I want to talk to Denims on stream. Like, she basically covers the same stuff I do, so yeah, I definitely want to talk to Denims.
Right.
But there's nothing here. It just says for Jay Leno, Ludwig, and video. I don't know what this was probably from one of the who the fuck is Sancho? I don't even know who that is. I know who Denims is, obviously, but whatever these were earlier this week, you can even add it up. This was part of probably one of the Hassan videos I did a few weeks ago. I don't know. Yeah, fuck these. Yeah, I'm doing research on this stuff. You could just go to my.
What? This was from one of the Hassan videos I did a few weeks ago, and he downloaded it on the 5th of December. That was like 5 days ago. And he's saying, I mean, for him, it was like, what, 3 days ago? Because he did this on Monday, which was the 8th. Or no, Monday was the 9th. So it was 4 days ago for him when he downloaded it. 1:20 a.m. Jesus Christ, dude. He's downloading opposition research at 1 in the morning. Dude, Ethan is so broken. He's so brain broken on this shit. Like, he's literally downloading stuff that he doesn't. Also, these were downloaded 11 minutes apart. Like, he downloaded Sanchovi's 11 minutes after Denims. I guess he could have downloaded the entire. He could have, like, clicked download for the entire list of videos, and then maybe it took 11 minutes for the Denims video to download. But I don't know, dude. He's so cooked.
Probably one of the Hassan videos I did a few weeks ago. I don't know. Yeah, fuck these. Yeah, I'm doing research on this stuff. You could just go to my. Why are they pitching this like it's some crazy grand conspiracy? And why did they even say?
Yeah, I don't really know.
Service violation. Where did that?
Wait. Dude, they're not saying it's a grand conspiracy. It's literally just an observation of, like, a screen grab that they made. You're the one that's acting like all conspiratorial about it. Okay, this is so funny. I'm glad I'm watching this live with chat.
Why are they pitching this like it's some crazy grand conspiracy? And why did they even say?
Yeah, I don't really know.
Service violation. Where did that even come from?
I think because the names of those files say TOS and then somebody's name.
Oh, I didn't. Okay, I don't know where that's from.
TOS list. TOS list Denims and TOS list Sanchovies. I also have no idea who Sanchovies is though, so I don't know.
Google it. I'm sure it's somebody I know. Probably.
Just his Twitch streamer.
Sanchovies were they part of?
Oh, I think I know. Yeah, I don't know who he is. He's just some. I'm working on a video, you guys, that involves a clip of these two dipshits.
Gotcha.
So yeah, big fucking surprise. It's not a conspiracy. What are we doing?
Well, you've been exposed. You've been exposed, my friend.
He revealed that he has a folder of evidence and TOS violations for people he does not like. It's called making a video, you fucking.
Bro, that's just literally. I mean, he can't deny it. He cannot deny that that's the Reddit post is just correct.
Morons, what are we talking about? These people are deranged, man.
Okay, I said it before, but this post is not taking anything out of context. This post isn't extrapolating what this is into some conspiracy where it's like Ethan's trying to hide the fact that he's like doing opposition research about it. And I don't know, Ethan's freaking out. Like, I think that he's actually feels a little bit threatened for getting called out on his bullshit. Why else would you, like, why would you do this segment to do damage control and be like, oh, so his fans would be like, of course Ethan's doing videos on these people to try to get them banned. Like, that's what he's trying to do, to try to, like, pour water on this narrative a little bit that Ethan's unhinged and targeting people.
Oh, it's locked. Great. That must have been, there was lots of anti-Semitism in the comments. Jay Leno folder, specifically 2024.
Oh, it's locked. Bro, Ethan says it's locked because there must have been a lot of anti-Semitism in the comments. Oh my god, dude, he's literally like doing the fucking Netanyahu thing where they do ICC arrest warrants for him and he's like, it's anti-Semitic. We can't deal with it. This is an anti-Semitic court that's doing they're anti-Semitic to try to stop us from doing our genocide.
They're sending me. Yeah, dipshit.
Comments locked because we the moderators do not feel like moderating debates about Israel and Palestine here on the YouTube drama sub. Edit. It's now locked. Okay, so yeah, they locked that because of Israel Palestine.
Think about it a little bit harder, you fucking moron.
Well,
that was probably
that person's just laughing.
So, well, these people, that was probably for the video he edited, yeah. Nah, dude, Ethan's crashing out. Wants to take Jay Leno with him. Oh, okay. So wait, these people are actually.
That's why I'm. Why are you coming at these people? None of these people seem hostile to you.
A lot of these are memes.
This is friendly fire, bro.
Oh, here, this one's good. What makes this hilarious is Keemstar had a folder with his name on it, and Ethan clowned on him mercilessly. He's becoming more and more like Keemstar every day. This is my project folders. I'm editing a video about these people. He had a fucking folder on his desktop named Etika that was completely unrelated, dude.
Fucking files on top of files.
Also, wasn't the folder that he had on you called H3 crime?
Yeah.
Which is.
I mean, what's really the difference between H3 crimes in terms of service violations list, like TOS list denims? Like I don't know.
That's funny.
So
and he had not made any videos about me. There was nothing upcoming.
Wasn't it all just to report you to YouTube? Just to email them stuff you were doing?
I don't know. There was a period when he was bitching to YouTube about everything. Well, he got us suspended.
Bro, that's what Ethan was doing to Bad Empanada too. He was reporting all of Bad Empanada's videos that he did about Ethan and Gila for, I think he was reporting them for harassment. What the hell?
With the doll, that was the one.
Right.
We got a week.
Right.
He really is adopting Keemstar habits. Guys, it's a video folder. This sounds like Nixon and his enemies list. Holy fuck, you guys.
YouTube plumbers, dude.
Actually, legitimately unhinged behavior. It's a video file. Yeah, I post all these videos. It's all
Okay, I mean, it is a little unhinged to have video files downloaded that you don't even know who the person that you have your Oppo research on. Like, you don't even know who Sanchovies is, and yet you have like a compilation of terms of service violations that person did. Like, how is that? I don't know. It's like you're admitting in this segment that you're doing that in your like gleeful spree of finding opposition research, you downloaded content that you have no idea who it's about or what like TOS even represents.
on my Ethan Klein channel.
This is on the R YouTube drama subreddit I'm seeing?
Which is like, yeah. Which
I mean,
gets, let me
at the end of the day, it's like...
Let me click this.
Who gives a
Ever
fuck what
since
these
he's
people
been
think?
skinny.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes! Thank you! Like, okay, I know people have been criticizing Dan because he's like stuck by Ethan, but he is kind of the voice of sanity on this show. I mean, AB's doing a good job as well, but he's like, at the end of the day, who cares? Why are we talking about this? Ethan's ego is just so fragile that any little thing that's kind of like pushing against him and making him look bad is going to cause him to freak out.
Pretty fucking level-headed. He has.
Let's see,
His
this is
takes
the
have been
person that
pretty
posted
level-headed.
it. How much you want to bet that they're active in Snark? Let's see. They're active in Cobra Kai? That's just weird, man. It's time to move on.
No mercy.
It's time to find a new fucking movie to like, dude.
Well, we got 5 more episodes, coming out next year.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So maybe they're...
It's solid.
Yeah. Let's see. It's got to be here, guys.
So now he's trying to discredit the person who made that post by showing that they're part of the Snark Reddit. Oh my god. Even if they are part of the Snark Reddit, how does that discredit what they have to say? Like, the way you engaged in their post was saying, yeah, of course I'm doing this. Why are you blowing it out of proportion? They didn't blow it out of proportion. It's the people that... I mean, people are comparing him to Keemstar because I guess footage got leaked that Keemstar was doing opposition research on people too. Like, I don't think it's insane to have a file, like a list of stuff in something that you're, like, ongoing doing. Like, that's something that I've been thinking of, that I should start writing down a list of, like, Trump's key policies. Like, I think Kyle Kalinske has that, and he's able to rattle off, like, the best and the worst things that Trump did. He's able to rattle off the best and the worst things that Joe Biden did. I don't think that's a bad idea. But it is a little bit unhinged when you're saying you're making, like, research videos and you have content that you downloaded. You don't even, like, Ethan clearly didn't find all of the files himself, set it up, screen record the files, like, put it in a folder that he has specifically created for these specific videos that he's working on. He clearly just downloaded a group of files when he asked for, like, terms of service violations for Ludwig and Denims and, like, people involved in the Hassan sphere on Twitch. And he doesn't know why the files are named the way they are, and he doesn't even know, like, half of the people in the files. Like, the Sanchovies person, he has no idea who that is. So that is unhinged behavior. I'm sorry, he's not doing opposition, he's not doing research for a video when he's downloading files that were clearly given to him, and he didn't find it himself. Right, and the other thing is, like, Google Docs is like that's what I guess that's what I would do if I was making like a list of policies that politicians did, and the good and the bad things that they did, just to keep it straight so that you won't forget things.
Gotta be here.
What are you doing?
I was looking for cross.
Oh, you're just seeing if they are a member of the Snark subreddit?
Yeah.
Well.
Gokuto. Cobra Kai.
Gokunaru?
Yeah, it might be a Gokunaru resurgence.
Gokunaru alt?
The YouTube subreddit is a little bit wider, I think. It's like
It's
more
definitely
normal.
wider.
Yeah.
But I see like snark cross posts, they just get like insane brainless upvotes.
Yeah.
So anyway, shout out to these dipshits who discovered my video projects folder of public videos.
They got you, dude.
It's my grand conspiracy.
You're owned.
Yeah, I'm making a video. And if those people should be worried, they should be. Because I'm crazy. And I'm working on something. It's not about them. It's probably just maybe a clip of them. And a larger project.
If you ever do a new show, you should call it Crash Out.
Crashing Out?
Crash Out. Yeah.
It's actually kind of good.
I know.
Not bad.
It hit me when you mentioned it in your last Ethan Klein
Crashing
video.
out my basement?
Yeah, crashing out in the basement.
I'm taking it back for myself, reappropriating.
I like it.
And then finally, shout out.
Wait, you got to hear this chat. And this is, you know what? Thank you for sharing this, Sierra Sindrell, because I think it illustrates my point about the discourse on our YouTube drama. Someone left multiple comments on that thread saying Ethan bullied Etika to the point of unaliving.
Me?
I told them they had it wrong and it was Keem. They said, I could be mistaken, but I don't think so.
What? I've never heard anyone say that. Like, that's literally.
But this is just like, shouldn't let these people bother you, even more so than the snarkers. At least the snarkers are actually engaged. These people think you and Keemstar are the same person,
Yeah.
literally.
But isn't that like the anti-Semitic Jewish trope? You know, like anything that's wrong in the world, blame the Jew. I see.
Bro, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? It's a file on your computer. They didn't even misrepresent the file. People are drawing comparisons to Keemstar because I don't know anything about Keemstar, but he had a file on his computer too that was like H3 crimes, and he was coming up with lists of stuff that you did. That's the exact same thing you're doing. Like, what? How is that anti-Semitic? I'm losing my mind. What the actual fuck? And I mean, they're so bad at actually. I mean, Ethan will criticize Hassan until the fucking cows come home that he doesn't engage in the points that Ethan has. He's not engaging in my talking points. He hasn't watched my entire, 10 hours of content that I've done on Hassan. So he can't be doing anything in good faith because he doesn't actually talk about every single thing that I do. And yet, when he gets this post that's calling him out on his bullshit, he's like, this person's misrepresenting me. They're trying to make it seem like a conspiracy. All of these comments are anti-Semitic. These other comments are saying that I forced someone to kill themselves. So yeah, we shouldn't engage with them at all. It's like, dude, they just accurately called out what you were doing.
Yeah.
No, actually, was it Keemstar? No, it was Ethan too. Of all people, this guy Matt Lieb, who apparently is a producer for Good Mythical Morning, who's a big part of their team, apparently.
Affairs.
Has a podcast called Bad Hespera, in which he brought on Frogan to cry and bitch about getting banned for her insanely terrible behavior, the hummus racial tier list, and the wishing American soldiers get PTSD. He's like, yeah, you are being targeted. And they're reacting to a clip of me in which this guy, Matt Lieb, says something so horrifically fucked up that I believe either he actually does need to apologize and clarify. Like, it's total scumbag shit. Let me play it.
About this, that this is, it must be a perpetual state of affairs. And it also points out, I think, the obvious, which is that, at the end of the day, he's the only answer here. He says 2 states, and it's I think he knows full well that is not going to happen.
Right.
First of all, bro, nobody even wants a one state. What kind of fucking insane? The Palestinians and the Jews both don't want one state. Look at every fucking poll. The desire for it is at single digits in both camps.
So the only answer here is.
Okay, so I've said it before and I'll say it again. The reason that I am critical of the reason I'm critical of Ethan's coverage on Israel-Palestine is A, he does not give the genocide nearly enough media attention. That should be the most important thing that people talk about, and I know that it is kind of soul-crushing to talk about it 24/7, but you do need to mention it more than what Ethan's been doing. Every time Ethan mentions it, he'll just say that I don't support the genocide that's going on. And then he'll be like, okay, I said that once, I can not mention it for another 6 months. Or, of course, Netanyahu's bad. But the issue is that he will value the feelings of Zionist Jews in Israel over everything else. So when he says no one wants a one state, so why are you pushing for it? That's actually anti-Semitic if you push for it, because the Jews in Israel don't support it. And they think that if there's a one state solution, then they're all going to die and they're going to perish. And the violent anti-Semitic extremist groups are just going to break down the walls and kill everyone, like if we stop oppressing them. So I said it before, Ethan's like, I'm fine with a one state solution, maybe 50 years down the line, once the Palestinians have cooled off and relations have gotten better. Okay, but you don't want a two-state solution either, because Israel, let's just be honest, Israel's never going to let Palestine have their own state. They do not want neighboring countries to have any kind of military at all. I mean, you can see what they're doing to Palestine, obvious. You can see what they're doing to Lebanon, invading southern Lebanon, bombing the hell out of them to mow the lawn, essentially. Not letting their neighbors have any kind of military presence whatsoever, because Israel is a genocidal state and they're like an apartheid ethno state. So like inherently, they're not going to get along with their neighbors. And so instead of just being like, okay, well, I guess we're going to have to just bite the bullet and not get along with them, they're just going to say, we're not going to get along with them anyway. Let's just bomb them so that they can never build themselves up and actually be a threat to us. They're invading Syria now. Like Israel launched an invasion of Syria. They're holding the Golan Heights, and they're going to hold even more Syrian land, which is against international law, but it's being supported and propped up by the West, by the UK, by the USA. So Israel's a fucking imperialist state, and I don't give a fuck what imperialists think should happen about the people they're oppressing. Like, there's a reason we had to fight a war to free slaves from the American South. Yeah, sanction their asses. I don't care. I really do not care about what the polls say for Israel. And I also don't care about what the polls say for what Palestinians want right now, too, because we can think about what the Palestinians want when we stop the fucking genocide that's happening. I mean, that's step one. Stop the genocide. Step two is stop the oppression. What Ethan wants is Palestine to be oppressed for 50 years, and then if they're the perfect victims and they prove to Israelis that they can just take a beating for the next 5 decades, then maybe we can give them a one-state solution, or maybe we can give them their own state. So, yeah, I don't give a fuck. And every time Ethan says that, why should we have a one state, is even no one wants a one state solution. It's like, I don't care. That is the solution. That's the best solution that we can work towards right now, because people are fucking equal, and it doesn't matter your ethnicity or your country of origin. People should have equal rights because everyone is a human. And Ethan is a liberal Zionist. He believes that Israel should stay Jewish. So that, I mean, every time Ethan does this stupid shit, I'm gonna rip into him because I'm so sick of him. I'm so sick of his shit. I'm so sick of him crying anti-Semitism because he gets compared to Keemstar for having opposition research. I'm so sick of him crying anti-Semitism when Matt Lieb criticizes him for, I don't know, hating Arabs. And even though I don't think Ethan looks at an Arab person and automatically hates them, I do think that he looks at an Arab person and sees them as enemies of the Jews, because that's what Zionists see. They see Arab people as enemies of Jews. And of course you're going to see that. If you are part of the ruling class in an apartheid state, of course you are going to see the people that you are oppressing as your enemy. And if they get equal rights, then that is going to, if they get equal rights, then they're going to start oppressing you, because you've been so used to being in the position of power where you can oppress them the entire, like, for decades now.
Ethnic cleansing and genocide, and it's him allowing for it, because at the end of the day, and this is not uncommon, it's not just him, but you know, the value of human life here goes far in favor of the loves Sabra category, if you know what I mean.
First of all, I love the dog whistle. I do know what you mean, Matt. I'm so glad that you pointed that out while trying to excuse her racist, disgusting, fucking anti-Semitic behavior on stage of putting Jews on the bottom and Arabs on the top of their tier list. You go, no, it's just hummus. But also, love Sabra, if you know what I mean. I'm talking about Jews, nudge, nudge. It's like, yeah, fucking moron, you just proved my point, you fucking imbecile.
Like for him specifically, it's like, it's Jews are the more.
Yeah, I don't think that when he said the love sabr category is Jews, I think he's specifically talking about Zionists who do hate Arab people. And I know there are Arab Jews, and Zionists even hate them. There is like a racism problem even among Jewish Israelis, where if you are an Arab Jew, you are discriminated against because you are associated with being Arab. And that is the issue with ethnostates. Like it endangers racism, and it bakes it into the very like fabric and every institution of the country. So yeah, Israel is racist, and it is anti-Arab. Like Israel is just like definitionally anti-Arab. And when Ethan, I mean, the thing is, one of the big reasons that I'm covering Ethan Klein is because his rhetoric has really, I think it's really damaged the conversation around Israel and Palestine, because you get people that say it's not a complicated issue and essentially apartheid needs to stop. One side has all of the power in this country, or one side has all of the power, and it's Israel. And then you get guys like Ethan Klein who will say, hold up, it is extremely complicated because Jewish people do have a history of being discriminated against. And if you say that we can't oppress these people, that is a continuation of the discrimination that Jews have experienced throughout their entire lives. Why are you talking about Israel so much? Why aren't you talking about what's happening in China with the Uyghur Muslims? Why are you saying from the river to the sea? Don't you know that that has a history of being used by terrorist organizations? Why are you saying that why are you saying that like Israel is anti-Arab? Don't you know that there's a lot of Arabs in Israel that are Jewish? That's anti-Semitic because you think that every Jew is a monolith. But at the same time, Ethan will say that every Jew does support Israel because 90% of Jews are Zionists and they all think that they should have a homeland in Israel because of the discrimination. At the same time, you have Ethan saying that if you point to Jews that are anti-Zionist, you're tokenizing their Jewishness. At the same time, you have Ethan saying that Karl Marx wasn't Jewish, he was a communist. So you have Ethan playing both sides, right? He strips away people's Jewishness when it doesn't work in his narrative, and he highlights people's Jewishness when it does work in his narrative. And that's an extremely dangerous idea that he's spreading, because that is the entire propaganda of Israel. They want to use anti-Semitism against Jewish people as a shield to block any kind of criticism for their very dangerous and destructive actions that righteously deserve to be criticized. And Ethan is telling his audience that this is a nuanced issue and that there is an upsurge in anti-Semitism specifically against Israel's atrocities. He conflates Dan Bilzerian with Hassan. He will show Lonerbox as a voice that's reasonable on the left, that has a nuance to take to Israel-Palestine. He doesn't mention that Lonerbox doesn't agree that Israel is committing a genocide. He doesn't mention that Lonerbox's entire existence has been served to defend the genocide that Israel's doing for the past year. He doesn't mention any of that. And so he's really like bringing in these radical ideas that are straight up genocidal to his very liberal audience. His audience is liberal. Like he really pushed for the Democrats in this election. That's the audience he's bringing. That's the audience that he's like encouraging. But when you say that it's a reasonable position to have it's a reasonable position to say 50 years down the line, maybe the Palestinians can have a one-state solution, or it's a reasonable position to cry anti-Semitism when someone says that Israel is a white supremacist country and anti-Arab. Saying that Israel is anti-Arab is anti-Semitic, according to Ethan. That's really just lying to his audience and is making... Yeah, I criticize Lonerbox, but I haven't even sniped a child in the head before, so who am I to talk about Israeli snipers killing children? But anyway, man, Like, my point is just that Ethan's lying to his audience, and he's making his audience think that it is righteous to push against these vile anti-Semitic pro-Palestinian advocates. And it's just gross. And I mean, there's a reason that I took a little break from covering Ethan Klein, because it's disgusting to get through. And he just lies all the time, and he's getting worse. He's getting worse all the time.
Worthy of the land, you know?
That is such a fucking obscenely disgusting.
I'm just going to rewind this, so I was kind of talking over it.
Trying to excuse her racist, disgusting, fucking anti-Semitic behavior on stage of putting Jews on the bottom and Arabs on the top of their tier list. You go, no, it's just hummus. But also, love Sabra, if you know what I mean. I'm talking about Jews, nudge, nudge. It's like, yeah, fucking moron. You just proved my point, you fucking imbecile.
Like, for him...
Yeah, once again, I don't think he was talking about Jews. I think he was talking about Zionists.
Specifically, it's like, you know, it's Jews.
I mean, just once again, they don't even sell Sabra hummus in Israel. They sell Sabra hummus in North America, essentially. And Sabra hummus is an extremely Zionist company. They donate a lot to Israel. And so you can pretty easily say that Sabra hummus is like a metaphor for Zionism. And like specifically American Zionism, where there is people in America that aren't Jewish that support the idea of a Jewish state. So yeah, I think Sabra hummus is like an apt metaphor for Zionist people.
Are the more worthy of the land, you know?
That is such a fucking obscenely disgusting, unwarranted take.
It's crazy.
Like, shame on him. It's crazy that you would even say that. That you think I'm a Jewish supremacist, that Jews are more entitled to the land because I said I'm in favor of a two-state solution. Like, this is absolutely this is psychotic. It's psychotic. What is wrong with you, dude? Also, doing some like good, deep-level anti-Semitism when he goes, it's not just Ethan, it's a lot of Jews. This is very common. And they think that Jews just deserve the land and Palestinians do not. It's like, you are fucking not only characterizing me that way, but painting a broad brush against like tons of other Jewish folks like me, just accusing every Jew of being, or most Jews, or lots of Jews, of being Jewish supremacists, which is just not true.
What the fuck, dude? He's literally said to Hassan in the past that he said like before that like 90% of Jews would support Israel, or a one-state solution is against the sensibilities of 90% of Jews. And now Matt Lieb is saying that like, yeah, a lot of other Jewish people, and I don't even know if he said Jewish people, but like a lot of other Zionists believe that Israel, I don't know, belongs like did Matt Lieb even say that all Jewish people believe that? Or did Ethan just like put those words into his mouth?
Like, for him specifically, it's like, you know, it's Jews are the more worthy of the land, you know?
That is such a fucking obscenely disgusting, unwarranted take.
It's crazy.
Like, shame on him. It's crazy that you would even say that. That you think I'm a Jewish supremacist, that Jews are more entitled to the land because I said I'm in favor of a two-state solution. Like, this is absolutely this is psychotic. It's psychotic. What is wrong with you, dude? Also, doing some like good, deep-level anti-Semitism when he goes, it's not just Ethan, it's a lot of Jews. This is very common. And they think that Jews just deserve the land and Palestinians.
Okay, so he didn't even play the clip where he said that. But anyway, like, yeah, Ethan has said that before. And in terms of, I support a two-state solution. I mean, a two-state solution is untenable. And Ethan knows this. And when he, like, last week, we went over that conversation with Hassan and Ethan. And we went over Hassan breaking down the two-state versus one-state solution, and Ethan's like, okay, well, I'm starting to see what you say, or I'm starting to see what you're talking about, where like a two-state solution wouldn't really make much sense because Gaza is separated from the West Bank, and there are settlers in the West Bank, and also Israel has this history of like invading everyone and stopping them from actually creating any kind of country on their borders. So I'm starting to see what you're talking about. But that's so far down the line. And even with his conversation with the Loner Box, he's like, well, one-state solution is so far down the line. What we should do, like, maybe after 50 years we could have a one-state solution. It's like, okay, so there's not going to be a two-state solution. There's not going to be a one-state solution. So what you're in favor of is what's happening right now, where maybe not the genocide, but let's have Gaza go back to the open-air prison that it was. Let's have Israel go back to controlling the food, water, electricity, trade, airline, healthcare, immigration, in all aspects of Gaza and the West Bank. Let's go back to that. So we'll go back to Israel oppressing them, and it will be a one-state solution in the sense that Israel will be the only one state that's there. Palestine won't have a state. Israel will have the state and they'll be oppressing these people. That's what Ethan supports. Like, if you're not in favor of a one-state solution and you say that a two-state solution is untenable, then the only thing you're in favor of is Israel oppressing Palestine. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, and I'd really love to push Ethan on this because I don't think he has a good answer for it.
Do not. It's like you are fucking not only characterizing me that way, but painting a broad brush against like tons of other Jewish folks like me, just accusing every Jew of being, or most Jews, or lots of Jews, of being Jewish supremacists, which is just not true. It's anti-Semitic, it's fucking disgusting, and I dare you to point to one example of me ever saying anything like that. I mean, people can just say that shit, and it's just accepted. It's fucked up, man. Like, this guy works for Good Mythical Morning. This guy's apparently works like for the most brand-friendly fucking show on earth, and he's
All that's gonna happen is like
fuck you, man.
It is a little surprising.
Yeah.
I have no idea who this person is, and
I recognize him.
I will admit, I'm not a
I don't know
regular
who,
Good
I
Mythical
only
Morning
learned
viewer.
because I saw the clip and
I know
they were
that'll
saying
come as
he's like a
surprise.
big producer for Good Mythical Morning.
Right, yeah.
I wonder what Rhett and Link's stance is on me being a Jewish supremacist. What a disgusting, shameful act of bigotry from both of them. And while running defense for Frogan, who is the most vile, disgusting, hateful, moron, anti-Semitic, talentless, two-time star winner, rising star.
You always say that, and I have to correct you every time.
Go ahead.
She only won once.
She won once, nominated twice.
Right.
It's not as fun.
You said two-time winner.
But she's a two-time star once. How do I? Then
She
how
was,
should I phrase it?
she was nominated, but she only won once.
Okay, but how do I?
Two-time nominee.
Two-time nominee, one-time
rising
winner.
Star. Okay, that's almost more insulting because she never even got it. Well, it's funny that she won it once and then was nominated again. That's funny. That's hilarious.
I think it's sadder to win it twice. If she had won it twice, that's truly.
She won
that's
it
kind of
once
embarrassing.
and got nominated again, though. How pitiful is that?
But she didn't win, so she
got nominated though. Like
she only won once. That to me, that's the end all be all. That's all that matters.
Why the
She only
fuck
won
would
once.
you be nominated again? That's so pitiful.
Yeah, I don't know why Ethan hates Frogan so much. I think it's just like a loose thread that he can pick at to try to get to Hassan. I think that like she does say some stupid stuff like I don't care if soldiers get PTSD or not. Like, do I think that's the end of the world? No. Do I think it's like you maybe shouldn't say that when you're streaming? Yeah, probably. But like the fucking Sabra hummus tier list, I could not care less about. And I think that Ethan is really mad about Hassan because he sees Hassan having a lot of success, and he does see Hassan speaking out about Israel-Palestine. And again, Ethan does not believe in a one-state solution because he is a bit of a Jewish supremacist, not in the sense that he believes Jews should run the world or anything, but in the sense that he doesn't think Palestinians should have equal rights as Jewish people. And he does think that Palestinians are like predisposed to hating Jews, and they're just anti-Semitic. It doesn't have to do with the fact that they've been oppressed for the last 50 years. It just has to do with the fact that they hate Jews. And so when they would stop the oppression, of course all of these Jew-hating Palestinians would come in and kill Israelis, like Jewish Israelis. And Ethan, I mean, look, when pressed on this, he'll retreat back to the position that when Israelis are polled on this, they don't want a one-state solution. So they should be respected in that regard. Their will should be respected because they don't want a one-state solution. But his real position is that he doesn't want a one-state solution. And he'll just retreat back to the poll. And then the response to that would be, well, I don't care about the poll. And then he would kind of go back to an emotional argument where he's like, okay, but like, why aren't you respecting these people? When other minorities say their goals and wishes, you should respect that as well. And it's like, okay, but they're not the minority in the situation in Gaza. Like, they are not the powerless party in the situation in the Middle East, right? They're a minority in the world, but not in that situation. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Okay. We got a lot to get through today.
Who's our rising star this year? How about the person that won last year? That's like, imagine how little they think of her.
Is this not, are we
Well,
are we not
I mean,
talking
it's
about,
better than being a falling
Cutie
star,
Cinder-
Ethan, right? Okay.
You know, like the
They
amount
take
of, like,
themselves way more seriously, my friend.
Do they? I mean,
yeah, they just did it, and everyone showed up in like tuxedo. Actually, there was a hilarious clip. Maybe you can.
I mean, we did that. We did it at the Dolby. I'm just saying.
No, they take themselves very seriously.
Okay.
They really do. There's a funny clip of Hassan shows up at the red carpet, and they don't let him stand in front of the brands. They move him off. It's fucking awesome.
Like in a self-aware way, or like a?
No, it was very awkward. Can you pull it? It's very funny.
Ooh.
And it isn't like a hate video. It's just funny. So anyway,
I don't even know what to begin Googling to find that, to be honest.
Hassan
moved out from in front of brands.
Yeah, at the.
I'm gonna try to wrap up the stream at the next hour, so maybe another 40 minutes. I don't know if I'm. I don't know. We'll see how far we get, but I'm gonna try to wrap it up at the top of the hour.
Streamer awards.
Spilled.gg.
Spill it. Spill it on me, baby.
It's a Mizkif clip, apparently. Is that what you saw?
Oh yeah, Mizcliff's reacting to it.
Hassan, quickly, come on, real quick. 30 seconds. Fuck out of here. Let's get your interview out of the way. I don't care if you piss your pants.
What are you dropping? I'm just dropping my bag. Oh, let's go over in the backdrop.
Yeah, we gotta move for Hassan, actually. Hassan's too big, apparently.
Go over there. Go back there. Yeah,
No, stay over here.
She said trust her.
Hassan's not allowed to stand in front of the sponsors.
That's literally what happened. Like, there's no other way.
I guess you can't really. I mean, unless it's
the mic, maybe the mic cable.
No shot.
Wow, dude,
they were freaking out as he was walking over there. Try it again. Watch again.
And then he got told he has to stay there.
Yeah, dude, there's no way.
That actually sucked.
Oh.
Pressing buttons and keys.
I'm a little hesitant to believe it just because it's Mizkif. I know he's been milking these live stream fail videos.
Well, you can find an unedited clip. I feel like there's no other way to interpret that. It's funny either way. Whatever.
There might be a
What the fuck, dude? Okay, so Mizkif came out and he said that Hassan shouldn't be like monetized for, or Hassan and other political streamers shouldn't be allowed on the platform of Twitch because they're ruining ads for everyone else. And then, like, he said that in a clip. And then he's like, okay, I was just joking. Someone clipped that, posted on livestream fails, and we'll see how much attention we get. And it got a lot of attention. And he's like, yeah, it's just joking. Like, I was just showing how easy it is to kind of juke the system and make people take things out of or make people believe that I said this. And it's just like hating on Hassan will get you a lot of livestream fail clips. And then AB's like, oh, I know that Mizkif has been like milking the system of the live stream fails, and Ethan's like, it's an unedited clip. I don't think there's anything you can do. I don't think there's any context that can change that. And it's like, or you could just look at fucking Mizkif like 2 seconds after the clip and say, oh, I was just joking, someone clipped that and throw it up on live stream fails. Oh my god, dude, Ethan is so all right. Okay, so before we get any further in that, I think I have a clip of Hassan reacting to that, so let's check it out. See what he has to say.
That's where the clip came from, right? You made it to Ron stream only and missed the main interviews. Y'all had to drive back for Caroline shoes. Yeah, we didn't. I guess we didn't get to do like all of the main interviews because we were too late. Like the main interviews had stopped at that point. True, but don't you feel like Cutie discriminates you and makes you look like an outlier? Sorry for being parasocial. No, what? What are you guys talking about? Every time you come up with like a narrative in your head, you should just take a deep breath and be like, am I personally entirely too invested? Yeah, Austin is such a brand risk. They did the same to him and multiple other people. Yeah, he must be. He must have been considered a brand risk. That's why they moved him as well.
We gotta move for Hassan, actually. Hassan's too big, apparently.
Go over there. Go back there.
Okay. She said trust her.
Hassan's not allowed to stand in front of the
You had
sponsors.
someone earlier who's the same height as you who beat you in basketball.
I mean, it's so funny. Like, Ethan's like, there's no other way you can take this clip than saying Hassan's not allowed there. And it's like, what about this guy? What about this guy? He's with Hassan. And Ethan's like, there's no other way to take the clip than Twitch hates Hassan now.
Forget his name, I'm a piece of shit. Gotta pee.
Wow, dude, I actually feel so bad for him because he was trying to push him to the left, and then he got told he has to stay there.
No, I was only pushing him because I thought that's where we were supposed to be filming. Like, I don't give a. First of all, I'm drunk. Why would I care about being in front of the sponsors? I don't even take on sponsorships myself. He was literally told that he's doing the interviews wrong. Yeah. Also, I don't know if they know this, but like we took photos in front of the step and repeat, like official event photos in front of the step and repeat. And I was one of the people that was up for Just Chatting Streamer of the Year. I feel like if this was that big of a contention, if that was that big of a point of contention, like Cutie would have been like quietly been like, hey, can you not show up? This is a major event. I think this is Mizkif just clip farming, and then everyone, we just had 194,000 views. I suspect, Mizkif was clip farming, and then people went along with it because it, I don't know, coincides with their deranged parasocial fantasies.
Anyway, so it's so fucking dumb. Like, is there any substantial criticism that you can give to Hassan or not, Ethan? You're just gonna blindly follow like this guy that's farming you for clout. I mean, what would make more sense? You do interviews in front of the sponsors, or is that like where you take photos and you do interviews in front of the hedges? I guess Austin was also interviewed. I don't know. Who knows? Like, Ethan's just listening to this one guy talk for like 10 seconds and be like, oh, it's undisputable. There's no amount of context that could change this.
I want him in front of my brand. You know what I mean? I am against terrorism, fully. I do not show terrorist propaganda on this channel.
I mean, he literally has, right? Like, he's showed way more terrorist propaganda at this point than Hassan has by replaying the clips that Hassan's showed multiple times.
And you can send that promise to my sponsors. Right? I don't think I do. Have I ever shared terrorist propaganda? Whenever I say something that definitive, you can almost bet that I have done it. Can't think of one, can you, buddy? That's right. Anyway, fuck Matt Lieb and fuck Frogan. What a talentless hack she is.
We used the ISIS theme song a few times. I know it's for a joke, but remember you?
Does that count?
Early days of the podcast, I seem to remember you saying the ISIS national anthem is fire, and you would play
I think we listened to a remix of it.
Okay.
There was like a.
I was really racking my brain trying to think of the closest, and that's the closest thing I can think of.
That's good. Yeah, ISIS remix. That's true.
We'll find out soon.
Exactly. We'll see it all over.
Someone's gonna put it all over the subreddit.
I forgot I watched like an Al Qaeda training video or something.
I mean, could have happened. There's a lot of hours of content.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying about these dipshits. So there it is.
I'm trying to find the full context, but people in the comments are saying it doesn't.
Bro, you're not saying any. Ethan's like, that's what I'm saying about these dipshits. You didn't say shit about Hassan. You're just like, oh, here's a clip of a guy saying Hassan wasn't allowed to stand in front of the sponsor wall. And then Ethan's like, yeah, I don't allow terrorists on this stream. It's like, okay, so you're I mean, he kind of called Hassan a terrorist, and then he kind of backed down to saying, I don't allow terrorist propaganda on this stream. You didn't say anything, dude.
It's probably not why he was moved over.
I saw the whole clip. It absolutely is.
Okay.
Oh, I saw the whole clip. He doesn't do any kind of research at all, but he saw the whole clip. So now he's going to argue with his crew that's pushing back against it. I saw the whole clip. It absolutely is the reason why he's pushed over. What about Will Neff? Why didn't they interview Will? Why didn't they say like, oh, Will, you can come here. We'll interview you. Hassan, you stay there. I'll be with you in a minute. And then go over there. That, oh my God.
I mean, what's the other?
Say so?
They say what? He's too big? What does that mean?
That's what they said in that clip. I mean, from the clip that I just saw, it did look
people in that spot.
But why would they call him over?
If he called him over because he wanted to interview him, and then the producer said, "Don't put him in front of the sponsor." But he freaked out, went over there, and then Hassan was pushing him back to the spot, and the producer's like, "No, trust me, you have to do it."
It seems like why wouldn't they just tell Hassan beforehand? Because Cutie and Hassan are good friends. They do the podcast together and all that.
I don't know.
They could have avoided that awkward. I doubt it's the case.
That is the best explanation for it.
I think there has to be another explanation. That's my gut feeling. I'm not sure.
What? They're interviewing everybody in that spot.
Love on that.
That's the best explanation for it. God damn, dude. Ethan. Okay, this is why people say Ethan is unhinged, because he's like rabidly consuming all of these anti-Hassan clips that are taken out of context. I mean, that's what you can boil down his entire crusade against Hassan to. Just a rabid consumption of out of context clips. And he has no interest in hearing any kind of pushback or being corrected on it at all, because it makes him feel good. And the reason it makes him feel good is because he has been getting shit on for his horrible takes on Israel-Palestine. And this is the way that he can claw back a little bit of that feeling of empowerment, where he's like, well, you guys say I have bad takes on Israel-Palestine, but look at this out of context clip of Hassan. Like, literally, people were saying, what was that one post that he was criticizing? Oh yeah, people that were criticizing Gila for saying that Yoav Gallant is a good guy. And then he made that entire video where the first half of the video was him saying, yeah, Yoav Gallant is a moderating force on Netanyahu's cabinet. And then he'll be like, but why are you saying this about me? Why aren't you saying this about Hassan? And then he did the entire like, Hassan is in love with Hassan Nasrallah of Hezbollah fame. Like, bro, your entire fucking like reason for existence right now has been trying to get Hassan on like a gotcha. It's so lame. God damn.
I just thought they were memeing. I thought it was just self-aware.
It might be.
Oh, maybe.
Because she did make a joke on scene that she couldn't.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what the joke was, but something.
It didn't seem like they were joking. It seemed very awkward.
I mean, she wasn't seen. She joked about it.
Yeah, no, she did make that joke. Yeah, I saw that for sure.
I do see her forgetting to tell him, because when you're doing those kind of events, you're so locked in on like getting work done that telling Hassan, hey, don't forget it, you can't be in front of sponsors. That could be an easy oversight, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's so much bigger things you got to focus on when you're doing these shows.
And I mean, they had like huge like Fortnite, Xbox. Like those guys are mega brand friendly. They don't want like. By the way, Hassan is also running for, which is funny, anti-Semite of the year. written a poll that's gone by.
You say that he's running for it?
He's in the running for it.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe he.
I would be very surprised if he was running for that
But
title.
can you pull that? I know it's this.
Yeah, that's so funny. Bro, what the actual fuck is wrong with Ethan? He's saying that it's funny. Oh, it's so funny that Hassan is in the running for anti-Semite of the year, which is run by, I don't know who is run by, but, oh, it's like Stop Anti-Semitism, which is pretty much an anti-Palestinian Twitter account. That's so funny. Oh my God, isn't that hilarious? I did this whole campaign about how Hassan is like disgustingly anti-Semitic, and now he's in the running for anti-Semite of the year. Ha ha! Oh, that's so funny, dude. You've lost the plot, man. Now he's gonna talk about how Hassan is so anti-Semitic, but like, wouldn't it be funny if he won?
But the poll itself is funny. It's Stop Anti-Semitism, something like that. He's in the running against. There was a big list, and it's now down to 3: Hassan, Candace Owens, and Greta Thunberg. Greta's whatever. Nobody cares. My problem with Candace winning, like objectively.
Yeah, but doesn't that like kind of undercut the whole like what? I mean, I guess Greta Thunberg has been pretty pro-Palestine. I guess you're right, but like, I guess I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah,
I haven't heard of Greta Thunberg in years, so
it's a little interesting when they have Dan Blitzerian in there, and then some of the other people. Well, he was in the top 20 initially, or whatever it was, top 10.
It's just about vote. I think it's just about coverage. The thing is, Candace Owens is objectively like a raging anti-Semite, so like she should absolutely win this. However, I think Candace Owens would be proud to have win this. She'd be like, that's right, motherfuckers, I'm anti-Semite of the year. Hassan would not want to win this, which would make it funnier. I don't think anybody cares about Greta. I don't think so.
Swedish, by the way. I saw some people like.
Yeah, so Dan Bilzerian was in the running, and he didn't make the top 3 finalists because Hassan Piker and Greta Thunberg are more anti-Semitic than Dan Bilzerian, and Ethan sees that and thinks it's hilarious. So Dan Bilzerian, who is a Holocaust denier and said he'll bet his entire life savings that it wasn't 8 million Jews or 6 million Jews that died in the Holocaust, isn't more anti-Semitic than Hassan, and that's hilarious. And this is why I say Ethan has lost his mind, because if he's truly fighting against anti-Semitism, he should be in an outrage about this. How is Dan Bilzerian less anti-Semitic than Hassan? And Ethan thinks it's funny that Hassan beat out Dan Bilzerian. It's ridiculous, dude. Like, this is the fucking guy you had a podcast with, and now you're laughing because this Twitter post, stopantisemitism.org, this account, is saying that Hassan is one of the most anti-Semitic people in the entire year of 2024. Oh, and Greta Thunberg. I mean, no one cares about Greta Thunberg, but I guess she's more anti-Semitic than Dan Bilzerian, right? Like, why are you giving this any kind of credence? Even the fact that he's talking about it is insane. And, like, laughing and saying, this is so funny, guys. What if Hassan won? Wouldn't that be embarrassing for him? And Ethan's like, I know that he's not actually anti-Semitic and he'd feel bad about winning it, but that would make it even funnier if he won.
Swedish. Market.
I saw some people like Bassem Youssef.
Is she Swedish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Saw some people like Bassem Youssef was like telling his audience to vote for him because he was saying it was a joke, and I saw some of the other contestants were making a joke out of it.
Yeah, he didn't make it very far though. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately,
they just threw a bunch of names in there, and
yeah, people love him in Michigan.
I'm sure. Yeah, I think he is a little. I think he's a fucking piece of shit, freakazoid, scumbag. This man went on a podcast and accused Jews of stealing Jordanian babies to make their blood fucking more Semitic. It's literally insane that people think this.
Okay. So, we'll get into this in a bit. But when Ethan says that it's anti-Semitic to accuse Israel of stealing Jordanian babies, I mean, Ethan is so uninformed about the country that he's been defending this last year. It's laughable. I did research about this because I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? It turns out when Yemen had an exodus of Jews because Israel was encouraging Yemeni Jews to leave Yemen and come to Israel, as they were encouraging all Jews from every country in the Middle East to come to Israel, they didn't have good housing set up for these Jews. So they started a refugee camp for Yemeni Jews. And there was a lot of disease going around in the refugee camps. And guess what? Israel is a fascist country. They do not give a fuck about the rights of their citizens. So they came in and they took the children. They took I think it was 2,000 kids were taken from these Yemeni Jews between the ages of 1 and 2, or the ages of 0 and 2 years old, and brought them to hospitals where they died, and then they just buried them and didn't tell the parents until days later at some points. I mean, it's a conspiracy in Israel that Israel put the children and gave the children to different European Jews who lost their kids in the Holocaust. That's literally an Israeli conspiracy done by Israeli Jews. And the fact that Ethan says that conspiracy is anti-Semitic is insane. It just shows how little knowledge of the history of Israel he actually knows. I mean, it's such a widespread conspiracy that they've had 4 different investigative committees set up throughout the course of Israel's history to try to get to the bottom of what actually happened with these kids. And it turned out that most of them unfortunately died, but there is a large number of 50 kids that they have no records of whatsoever, and people think that maybe they were given to different families because they were given to different families because there are still records of these kids existing, and the parents whose kids were taken away from them got draft notice letters when their kids were supposed to turn however old you need to be to join the IDF, I think 18 or something. So on their 18th birthday, they get a letter in the mail saying, it's time to send your kid to the IDF. And they're like, what? Our kid got taken away from us when he was 1 year old and we never saw him again. And so this is literally a conspiracy theory that's in Israel, inside of Israel, done by Jews. And Ethan says that Bassem Youssef is a scumbag anti-Semite for repeating it. So Ethan is so fucking dumb and misinformed that it's dangerous. It's not even funny at this point. It's just dangerous. Again, he has a history of criticizing pro-Palestinian voices and pro-Palestinian voices for being anti-Semitic and ignoring the voices that aren't pro-Palestinian at all, that are anti-Semitic. And he did that one segment on Dan Bilzerian. How many segments has he done on Hassan compared to him? This is the second time he's talking about Bassem Youssef now. He's only talked about Dan Bilzerian one time, so he's done more segments on Bassem Youssef now than Dan Bilzerian. When he says that Hassan is in the running for anti-Semite of the year, isn't that hilarious? Because he'd be so mad if he won, right? So that's so funny. Where's the smoke for Dan Bilzerian? AB's trying to point out that this contest is stupid because Dan Bilzerian was listed on the contest and he didn't make it into the final 3, and Ethan just completely ignores it. He's lost the plot. He's he's gotten criticized a lot for his stance on Israel, and anyone that criticizes his stance on Israel is a target. It's not really so much as being anti-Semitic, it's the people that directly criticize him and his stance on Israel.
This guy is interesting or good in any way. That's Protocols of Zion.
It was Yemenite Jews.
Oh, Yemenite, yeah, whatever. It's literally Protocols of Zion level of fucking insanity. And he goes, that's why Jews outlawed, I don't think so.
Swedish, by the way. I saw some people
Swedish! Yeah, he didn't make it very far, though. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately.
They just threw a bunch of names in there. And
yeah, people love him in Michigan.
I'm sure, yeah. I think he's a fucking piece of shit, freakazoid, scumbag. This man went on a podcast and accused Jews of stealing Jordanian babies to make their blood fucking more Semitic. It's literally insane that people think this guy is interesting or good in any way. That's Protocols of Zion.
It was Yemenite Jews.
Oh, Yemenite, yeah, whatever. It's literally Protocols of Zion.
So it's he accused Jews of stealing Jordanian babies to make their blood more Semitic, and then his producer corrects him. It was Yemenite Jews, and he's like, okay, Yemen, whatever. I mean, does he think that they stole non-Jewish babies? I mean, again, he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's just trying to paint pro-Palestinian advocates as anti-Semitic, and that's the easiest way of interacting with their arguments, because you'd actually have to get into the weeds and do a little bit of research on what he's talking about in order to disprove the narrative that Bassem Youssef is anti-Semitic. And then it's just okay, Bassem Youssef repeated a conspiracy theory on the Patrick Bet-David podcast, and let's just actually skip to that clip right now. I don't think that it's the best argument against Israel. I do think it's an example of Israel being an authoritarian government that doesn't really care for people on the outskirts of society, and it doesn't really care for really propping up human rights. I don't think it's the best example of Israel being atrocious, but it is an emotional example, right? They take the children away. The thing is, the conspiratorial part of it is that Bassem Youssef does say they take the children away to give to European Jews. That's not that. So that was a conspiracy that happened in Israel, and Jewish Israelis have that conspiracy about it. So it's not an anti-Semitic conspiracy. I just think it's a little bit misinformed to repeat it because that is such a widespread narrative that there have been investigations done, and those investigations have shown that those children were not given to European Jews. They were not taken from Yemeni Jews and given to the European Jews. They just died in hospital. But like, there's a lot of things that you can talk about inside of that story that have been proven to be true that do show that Israel is pretty fucking gross. So, for example, they did like medical experiments on these kids that, because of Jewish traditions, you're not really allowed to do on people. But they took away these kids. The Yemeni Jews have or Yemeni people have a history of having really good really good hearts in like good condition, and so doctors came in and they took the dead kids' bodies and they like dissected them and did experiments on their hearts, and then they just buried them in like mass unmarked graves. That's atrocious behavior. That's a horrible way to set up a country and to treat a group of essentially refugees that emigrated from their home to come to Israel to start a new life and like help build this country. That's a horrible way to treat them. So it's like really gross behavior from the Israeli government at the time, just taking people from schools without the parents even knowing, having them die in hospitals, just burying them without even notifying the parents, having any kind of death certificate or anything at all. In a lot of cases, the parents just one day, their kids weren't there and they had no information on where their kids went at all. So that's like a horrible thing to do. You don't need to have the extra conspiratorial part of they gave their kids to other families, and that's why genetic testing isn't allowed in Israel. I don't know why genetic testing isn't allowed in Israel, but like this conspiratorial story, you don't need the conspiracy part of it to show that Israel's bad. So like, again, I'm criticizing Bassem Youssef in a nuanced way. I don't think that Ethan's doing that. He's just going to say this is a anti-Semitic conspiracy theory and he's wrong. He's a blazing anti-Semite, and it's just not true. Like, Ethan's just uninformed.
Here's Bassem Youssef, everybody's favorite.
I've never heard a secular country, a democratic country, that would kidnap little kids from Yemeni Jews in 1950 and then take them away and then tell their parents that they die. And they did that in order to instill Semitic DNA in their population. That's why DNA testing is not allowed in Israel.
So are you? That's literally.
Okay, so the first part of what he said is true. Democratic, secular country, at least in theory, like if you're giving rights to your citizens, should not take away the kids of refugees that come there and then never give them back to them. But like the second part is a conspiracy. Once again, it's a conspiracy that a lot of Israeli Jews hold. So it's not an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, but it is a conspiracy theory that has been disproven because of the multiple investigations. But just once again, this is such a widespread conspiracy theory. Okay, let me just look this up really quick. Wikipedia. So it's like this is the bare minimum amount of research you can do. So this. Okay. So Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu described the issue as an open wound that continues to bleed for the many families not knowing what happened to their children who disappeared. So like even their current prime minister talks about their children not knowing what happened. I wanted to read. So yeah, 5 additional missing babies were found to be alive. The commission was unable to discover what happened in another 56 cases. Okay, so it was 1,000 children that were missing. Oh yeah, so this is such a widespread conspiracy theory that there was literally an armed, like, occupation that demanded for an investigation of these events to happen. So the peak of the public outcry on the matter occurred in 1994 when Yemenite Rabbi Uzi Meshulam established an armed sect of radical Yemenite Jews in his garden, who barricaded themselves in his home and violently resisted Israeli law enforcement while demanding that the Israeli government establish a state commission of inquiry into the matter. Meshulam's efforts led to the creation of the Kedmi Commission in the following year, the third commission of its kind. It set out to reinvestigate the disappearances. Okay, so 3 different commissions to try to investigate. So literally, like, an armed occupation of someone's house resisting the IDF and law enforcement to demand an inquiry into these questions. So, like, it's that much of a widespread conspiracy theory. And Ethan says that it's just anti-Semitic. And if we take a look at what the conclusion of this was, let's see. So the committee examined more than 800 cases and did not manage to reach absolute conclusions in 56 of these cases. The committee determined that in 750 cases, the children actually died. The commission said that 42 children were unaccounted for. In 2001, a 7-year public inquiry commission concluded that the accusations that Yemenite children were kidnapped by the government are not true. The commission unequivocally rejected claims of a plot to take children away from Yemenite immigrants. The report determined that documentation existed that showing that 972 of the 1,033 missing children were deceased. 5 additional missing babies were found to be alive. The commission was unable to discover what happened in another 56 cases. With regard to these unsolved cases, the commission deemed it possible that the children were handed over for adoption following decisions made by individual local social workers, but not as part of an official policy. So literally, an Israeli commission set up to investigate these claims determined that that it is possible that some of the children are handed over to adoption. It's insane, dude. Like, literally, I mean, I don't think that it's simply due to trying to, like, create a stronger blood of Semitism or whatever Bassem Youssef said, but it's undeniable that these cases were completely mishandled by the Israeli government, and there were, like, atrocities committed in such a shady way that since the 1960s, the Yemenite children affair has repeatedly been the subject of public debate every few years. So, like, it's a reoccurring issue in Israeli politics, and Ethan's just trying to say that anyone talking about it is anti-Semitic. Well, I don't think that's going to fly when it's literally a rabbi creating an armed occupation in his house, trying to create another inquiry into this. Like, it's literally a rabbi pushing for this. Okay, so this is what's interesting. So in 2016, so all the way up to 2016, Netanyahu is appointing another minister to re-examine the evidence in the previous inquiries. So this is now their 4th inquiry into the matter, which Ethan says if you talk about it, it's anti-Semitic. Netanyahu said it would right a historic wrong and mark a new era of transparency. The government opened up nearly all of the archives of the inquiries, putting them online. Disturbing revelations followed in a special Knesset committee about medical experiments that had been conducted on the Yemenite children. Prior testimony given under oath during the previous inquiries revealed that many children had died as a consequence of medical negligence. Further testimony revealed that 4 undernourished babies died after being administered an experimental protein injection. Violating Jewish tradition, post-mortem examinations were carried out on children who were then buried in mass graves. Children's hearts were removed in some cases and given to U.S. doctors researching the near absence of heart disease found in Yemen. So it's just like they've treated these people horribly, and in the vast majority of cases, the kids have died. In some of the cases, they're still alive and have been adopted. And in the other, 56 cases where they have no idea what happened, I mean, how do you lose track of 56 children? It's so undemocratic. It is possible that those children either died with no records of it or were given away for adoption. So literally, everything he's saying is true, except, again, I think he could be more nuanced about it. But you're on the Patrick Bet-David show. I mean, how nuanced can you really be on there? And I don't know if that has anything to do with the reason that Israel banned genetic testing or anything like that. But
literally like protocol. Yusuf. Yeah, that was weird. And Dan found the clip I wanted to watch, so thank you. Here's Bassem Yusuf, everybody's favorite.
I have never heard a secular country, a democratic country, that would kidnap little kids from Yemeni Jews in 1950 and then take them away and then tell their parents that they die. And they did that in order to instill Semitic DNA in their population. That's why DNA testing is not allowed in Israel.
So that's literally like Protocols of Zion level of bigotry. Like, first of all, if they were kidnapping babies in the 1950s, how big of a difference do you think that would have even made? Like, they're grown up, and then like 60% of the Jews are from the Middle East. Once again, it's like denying the Jewish identity in the Middle East. The majority of them are from the Middle East. They are fucking Middle Eastern, man. Again, it's part of this illusion that they push that every Israeli is white, which is just fucking not true, man. It's disgusting. This shit is like real This, what he said here, is actual Nazi shit. Like, this is what actually gets Jewish people killed. It's disturbing that he just said that so blatantly. And then the dipshits on the PBD, a podcast who are apparently debating him, are just like, yeah, anyway.
Semitic DNA in their population. That's why DNA testing is not allowed in Israel.
That is absolutely not why DNA is. Dude, DNA testing is banned in a ton of countries, and people phrase it like it's just Israel. It's crazy.
Are you pro-Islam? Are you anti-Israel?
Bro, did you not hear what he just said?
This guy's such a moron.
Yeah, this is the guy who's apparently debating him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, like, I've seen clips of him, and he's a smart guy. He's a funny guy, and he's done good. But like, sometimes he says that shit, and I'm like, oh man, this guy's. I wonder what else he believes that he doesn't say. If that shit slips out here, that's fucking insane, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so insane that Israel has had 4 investigations because of it, and Netanyahu has even ordered the 4th investigation because of all of the questions that have been surrounding this. Dude, Ethan's so fucking stupid. And like, let's just talk about this right now. This is Know Thy Heritage Leadership Initiative, Explore and Serve Palestine. I mean, I don't know how trustworthy this is, but what it says like makes sense. Why does Israel prohibit DNA testing? DNA testing might reveal that a substantial proportion of Zionists in historic Palestine have predominantly European ancestry, reflecting migration from Eastern and Central Europe rather than a continuous Semitic lineage. This could undermine claims to an ancestral connection to the region and expose the predominantly European roots of much of the Jewish population in Israel today. For instance, when I conducted my DNA test, it confirmed that I am 100% Semitic Arab Palestinian with roots firmly embedded in the Levant region. Historically, the Levant encompasses Palestine, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and parts of Iraq, a region rich in diverse cultures, languages, and religions. The term Levant itself stems from European colonial and trade lexicons, reflecting an effort to generalize the area's identity rather than its historical and cultural specificity. If the question of rightful claim to the land were to be settled through DNA testing, the results would likely show that the indigenous population of historic Palestine, comprising Palestinian Muslims, Christians, and Jews, shares a Semitic heritage deeply tied to the region. This contrasts with the largely European ancestry of many Jewish settlers who arrived during and after the 19th and 20th centuries. If Israel's leaders continue to reject such peace proposals, one way to settle the matter could be through DNA testing. Let the results speak to the world, revealing the truth about the region's indigenous populations and their deep historical ties. In conclusion, Israel's reluctance to embrace DNA testing could stem from its potential to disrupt long-held narratives. However, embracing the truth through science and history could be a step towards a more just and peaceful resolution. So, that's the thing. Like, race and ethnicity are not a real thing when you're trying to legislate off of it. It's way too messy and there is no such thing as a clear racial line. It's not, I am white, you're black, end of discussion. Racism, and what Israel's doing is racism, is an ascientific, political practice. And when you are legislating your country and giving special rights to people off of their perceived ethnicity, that is ascientific. And if you allow DNA testing, that's going to fly in the face of the apartheid system that your country has set up. So, listen, did Israel take away these kids from Yemeni settlers because they wanted to keep their genetic makeup pure? No. And I don't think that's necessarily what Bassem Youssef said in that clip. I don't think that's what Bassem Youssef thinks in general. But is it clear that Israel took away those kids? Yes, they took them away. They probably were adopted by, I mean, they definitely were adopted by people because 5 of them were still alive. And then there's kids that are missing that were probably adopted by people too. However, the vast majority of those kids were just killed. Like, they were kept in horrible conditions and they died, and Israel took them away to stop disease from spreading, trying to quarantine them, and they kind of just let them die. They also treated the parents horribly. And then they also took advantage of the fact that there was a lack of documentation by allowing like suspect medical experiments to be done to them. So that's horrible. I don't think it had anything to really to do with the genetic purity of the country. But it's just like, it goes hand in hand, right? When you are legislating your country off of an ethnicity and off of like a religion, DNA testing will fly in the face of it. And so that's the reason why. And when Ethan says that there's a lot of countries that ban DNA testing, it's like, okay, well, the reason Israel's banning it is to try to give their apartheid state, their racism, some kind of legitimacy. And if you do allow people to DNA test and they're like, wait a second, I'm an Arab Jew, but I have way more genetics in common with the Palestinians that we're oppressing than with these Europeans that came and colonized this land. Why? Like, there is no real like connection genetically between me and them. And they want to say that Jews are all kind of they're all God's chosen people, right? And so there must be a reason that Jews have special privileges over Muslims and Palestinians, because we're all God's chosen brothers, or all God's chosen children. But then it's like, but I actually have more in common with the Palestinian living like a mile away than I do with my Ashkenazi neighbor. Like, that's the reason why. And Ethan is kind of unwilling to talk about that. So let's just...
ton of countries. And people phrase it like it's just Israel. It's crazy.
Are you pro-Islam? Are you anti-Israel?
Bro, did you not hear what he just said?
This guy's such a moron.
Yeah, this is the guy who's apparently debating him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, like, I've seen clips of him, and he's a smart guy. He's a funny guy, and he's done good. But, like, sometimes he says that shit, and I'm like, oh, man, this guy's... I wonder what else he believes that he doesn't say. If that shit slips out here. That's fucking insane, man. Yeah.
Both.
I'm not pro anything. I'm pro humanity, man.
So am I.
Yeah, shut up. Anyway, I don't like him. But, you know, that's why. Yes.
Okay. And then, yeah, I mean, there's, okay, let's find this. So there was, let's watch this.
The American media are running with the lies.
But a lot of American media is...
If you say that would be anti-Semitic, so I'm not going to go there. Right?
Oh, is that...
He's playing a little fast and loose there for my taste, but I think he's just trying to be a comedian. But I do think this is...
They're telling me everything that I say now is anti-Semitic.
I didn't know that.
But I'm saying that even the Jewish people in Israel telling you these are lies.
Well, my Jewish friends who, they say that the media is mostly run by Jewish folks. I don't think that's...
It is.
They told me that.
It is. All of the corporates...
This is bullshit. I don't agree with this at all. I don't agree with Theo Von saying that, and I've heard Theo Von say this before, and I have criticized it as well. I think this is like super old school. It's probably one of the most like insidious forms of it too. And I think this, like, whether intentionally or unintentionally doesn't matter, absolutely leans in to... Norm Finkelstein said this also. Yeah, well, Norm Finkelstein is literally the son of Holocaust survivors, and he is, you know, a Jewish man. It's also my position on this has always been, one, Jews are not monolithic, okay? Like, it doesn't matter. This is the idea that, like, there are Jewish people in media, and that therefore this somehow feeds into, you know, the pro-Israel position is so ridiculous, especially because guess who I have on my show all the time? Jews in media, okay? Some of the most, like, aggressive anti-Zionists out there are the very same Jewish people that work in media that I have on my stream. It's ridiculous. I don't think that this is like appropriate. I don't agree with it. I don't like this at all. Maybe not give Ethan and D-Bag ammunition. No, I'm openly calling this shit out.
CEOs are, but that's a different. But I don't want to go into their intention. I'm just giving you a case that it
But
didn't
we can't
have.
say that though.
Well, according to a bill that was passed by the Congress 2 months ago, there's now an anti-Semitic bill that any criticism to Israel will be counted as anti-Semitic. Any criticism to Jewish people who might have a dual loyalty to Israel and America, if you attack them, that will be called anti-Semitic. If you talk about AIPAC controlling the elections and giving money, that's anti-Semitic. And it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, this is way too close to like. It's way too close to the. You know, it's just like he's talking about dual loyalty and shit. Like this is not something that I've ever personally agreed with. I don't give it any room to breathe whatsoever, and I think it's a very dangerous. Yeah, the Jews that occupy leadership positions in media have those jobs because they're right-wing capitalists, not because they're Jewish. Exactly. Let's bring back my favorite anti-Semite destroyer. Okay.
Hey, thanks, Ellen. Okay, so I just wanted to show that clip of Hassan and like reacting to Bassem Youssef because I do think it's like important to call out actual anti-Semitism when you see it, and compared to what Ethan was doing, where he has this performative, overblown, you criticize Israel, you're being anti-Semitic, when he doesn't know like the first thing about Israel's history. So what was Bassem Youssef saying there that was problematic? Well, it's kind of what he was saying earlier too, where there's a thread of truth in what he's saying, but then like his connection and his conspiratorialness is what is bleeding into the anti-Semitism. So when he said that Israel's stealing children, it's like, okay, well, that was true. But then he goes too far and he says that they're doing it to like create the Semitic DNA to be stronger, and that's why they banned genetic testing. It's like that's too far. Like you're adding an extra layer of conspiracy to this that does not need to be there. And it's like the same with the media. The media does serve to defend Israel mostly, but they don't serve to defend Israel because they are Jewish. They serve to defend Israel because of the same reason that America defends Israel, because it's an extension of America's foreign policy and their interests in the region of the Middle East. Like, that's what the media is there for. It's the propaganda wing of the American imperial machine. And it doesn't have to do with the fact that they're Jewish, and singling out Jewish people for supporting Israel and saying they have dual loyalties to Israel and the U.S. That is weird. And you're like targeting Jewish people when that does not need to be the case. You do not need to say that the media is Jewish, right? Like, they're Zionists, and there's the vast majority of the media is Zionist, and there's a reason that we should try to distinguish a difference between Zionism and Jewish people, because that does lead to more anti-Semitism. And Israel wants that to be the case. Israel's done everything in their power to equate Zionism with Jewish people, and we really have to push back against that narrative. And even when it comes to great pro-Palestinian advocates like Bassem Youssef, even if they're making it, like, even if that was a joke, I don't think that's a joke that should be used in this situation, because Theo Vaughn has he has a history of saying that the media is Jewish, and you should be pushing back against that, not really giving into that narrative in a joking matter, in a joking tone. Damn. Okay, how long is this video? How long is this Ethan Klein video? 12 minutes? All right, let's get this video. Let's do this video, and then I'll end the stream. Why does nobody care? No description has been added to this video. 1,000 comments exactly. Seeing you in this quality feels so wrong. Don't stop cooking. Sorry, can't watch this. Too busy watching Trisha. Lighting. Oh shit, the comments are actually on for this video. Wow. Oh, Free Palestine. So someone wrote Free Palestine. Let's see what the comments are going to be. Just did. Wait, just did. Great, you agree with Ethan. What the fuck? Are they not free? Okay. Oh my god.
Hello everybody.
It is Ethan Klein from the basement with a light and a good camera. That's right, I'm all set up here. And today I've got a special episode of Ethan Klein crashing out solo on his own, featuring none other than Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch, and the director of community marketing. She's the head of TwitchCon, Mary Kish. Now, these two people were conducting a Q&A, I believe, yesterday or the day before, where I think this is his first time coming online since all the anti-Semitism broke. It's been about 40 days or something. So he comes on here, and he's going to be doing some Q&As, answering questions from the community. Thanks. Ducky's here, by the way. Ducky does not tolerate anti-Semitism of any kind.
Unlike Kaya.
And, while they're taking questions, they get a few. Well, here, let me just give you an idea of what goes on here.
And it's my first time with Dan hosting, so exciting.
Oh, wow. But during the course of this here, from chatters, let's take a look. Here it is. Now, these weren't even phrased like rudely. These were phrased like fairly respectfully. I mean, not very respectfully. And these people were permanently banned for it. This person was permanently banned. They says, why do you not ban streamers that show terror propaganda on your website? It's explicitly not allowed in TOS, but if you're big enough, you let them get away with it. Permanently banned. Another user asked, do you care to comment about the ADL and anti-Semitism on Twitch? That, by the way, completely fairly written. Not judgmental, not loaded. They were permanently banned for asking that question. It's kind of what everybody's been talking about. So if we're going to be doing a Q&A, let's not ignore the elephant in the room here, people. You know what I mean? I have a friend who called me with an anecdote. This is a big creator, streamer, someone that I trust who has no reason to lie to me. They were a part of a event that got canceled. And he got a call from Dan Clancy, who says, I'm so sorry. We have to be super careful right now with brand friendliness. And the reason that we're doing this, and he apparently name dropped me, because people like Ethan Klein, who don't actually care about anti-Semitism, are cynically going after our platform. So there's Dan Clancy, who apparently thinks that I'm doing this, that I'm burned half my audience just for fun, and that I don't, and that I think he doesn't think it's actually a problem, which is ironic considering what we're going to talk about next. Now, here is one of Twitch's.
Well, I mean, Ethan cares about Zionism. He cares about making Israel look good. Oh, so this is what people were saying he had. So that Reddit post was from this video. That's hilarious.
Largest Arabic streamers. He has 1.7 million followers. His name is Rakanu Live. Here's his channel. Now, unfortunately, he doesn't have VODs, so I can't show you. But I do have lots of stuff saved. He was actually recently faced a 2-week ban for during a stream. He was saying stuff like "fuck you, Jew" and "I love Hitler," which again, I don't know if Dan considers that anti-Semitic. We might have to check with the ADL on that one. You know, Dan he's not quite sure where to put that. But he was banned for 2 weeks. Just before we get into that, show you a preview of what this guy's been talking about on social media. On October 4 days after October 7th, he said, "My eyes are full. God burned the Jews." Sure, he means Zionists. He must just mean Zionists. Here's another one. God cursed the Jews everywhere. Oh, well, okay. That one's a little harder to defend because he says, God, see how I said I love that person who worries them, and this one is happy and says they deserve it. God damn the Jews everywhere. It's all in Arabic, so it's a little bit tricky. So if he says, God damn the Jews everywhere, that's kind of hard because they're talking about everywhere is, not just Israel, right? You would agree with that, Dan. So this is the kind of stuff that's been going on here with our good friend. But what happened? Here's a clip. Calling his opponents Jews as an insult and saying he loves Hitler.
Come, you pig, I will.
You pig.
Come, you pig,
You Jew.
trash,
You trash Jew scum. You can actually kind of hear him. I know this because it's from the original VOD, but this is the best we could do in finding what survived.
I love the best. Come.
Etc. Etc. It's just he's having a gamer moment, which is fair, That's just what we do when us gamers get heated. However, so he was banned for 2 weeks for this, although Twitch reduced it to 1 week. Here's his Twitter replies, by the way, when was announced that he got banned. Let's see. Here's his community. I don't know if you guys notice something here that's somewhat common, a commonality here, but I'll just scroll. Let's see. Okay. Picture of Hitler. This one's sensitive. Let me click that. Oh, it's just a picture of Hitler. Okay, got it. Let's see here. Hitler, here's your master. Here's a Heil Hitler from a nice man. This one's censored.
Wait, so this guy got banned for anti-Semitism, and Ethan made this video trying to say that Twitch has an anti-Semitism problem? Wait, what's this guy's name? Rakanu Live is Rakanu. So yeah, he got banned. I mean, temporarily banned. I think he said for 2 weeks. But I mean, Asmongold got banned for what? A week for saying that Palestinians are like subhuman, and Ethan didn't have any heat for that. He's not saying that Asmongold's ban was too light, and now this guy's using Jews as an insult in his game, like while he's gaming. So like okay. So yeah, he obviously is anti-Semitic. Like he's doing that edgy anti-Semitism stuff. Oh, I love Hitler. Like blah blah blah. I'm gonna kill you. Calling people Jews on his game online. Like that's what people in middle school would do, and they're like, oh, I'm so edgy. I'm so anti-Semitic. I'm gonna like sing songs that my anti-Semitic dad taught me. It's like, what the fuck? Okay, this is just like middle school humor, and he got banned for it. Like, if he comes back and he does it again, then, yeah, he should probably get, like, perma-banned. I don't care. Like, Asmongold said that shit. He got banned, and Ethan didn't have any smoke for Twitch then. He's like, why are they only banning him for 2 weeks?
Here's his Twitter replies, by the way, when was announced that he got banned. Let's see. Here's his community. I don't know if you guys notice something here that's somewhat common. A commonality here, but I'll just scroll. Let's see. Okay. Picture of Hitler. This one's sensitive. And click that. Oh, it's just a picture of Hitler. You guys get the idea at the sort of community he's fostering here. It's a lot of Hitlers, man. Wow. Not this one. Oh, this one was actually really nice. It shows IDF girls dancing and doing TikToks and stuff. Again, these are mandatory conscriptions. They're all like 18, 19 years old. Now here they roll the pictures from October 7th of civilians being murdered, people being...
Yeah, you can't Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, dude. So Ethan is like, you cannot criticize IDF soldiers for posting TikToks and basically doing IDF propaganda because that's mandatory conscription and they're only 18, 19 years old. But if you interview a 19-year-old Yemeni teenager, that's terrorist propaganda and you should get banned. You should like feel extremely bad about yourself because you're promoting anti-Semitism for fucking like interviewing him and asking him about One Piece. Bro, he's so delusional, dude. He has no self-awareness whatsoever. So these terrorists, that's mandatory conscription. But all of the Hamas terrorists, I mean, they had a choice. They could have either fought back or just died, right? Yeah, well, they have a choice too, motherfucker. They could have stayed home. Dude, you don't even get thrown in prison right now if you don't sign up for the mandatory conscription in Israel. That policy has become way more lax. So, yeah, even if you do go to prison, that's preferable to taking part in a genocide. Or you could leave Israel. I mean, dude, the fucking Palestinians don't even have an option to leave Gaza right now. Right? So, I mean, how many fucking flights are coming out of Yemen right now for these guys that... I mean, they probably couldn't even afford to leave a flight. It's ridiculous, but this is mandatory conscription. So why are you criticizing these fucking genocidal soldiers from doing propaganda on TikTok? Why are you criticizing them? That's mandatory, and they're only teenagers.
Being taken hostage after they were raped, rocket attacks in Tel Aviv, paragliders who mass murdered concert goers, that kind of stuff. Just some light viewers.
So if you highlight soldiers from Hamas, that's atrocious. But if you can't criticize IDF soldiers for making TikToks because they're just small bean teenagers that are taking part in genocide backed up by the most powerful countries in the world. Oh my god. Yeah, dude. Fucking glorifying Hamas fighters is not as bad as glorifying IDF soldiers. I'm sorry to say, Ethan. Like, they're both bad, but one is worse because one is killing hundreds of thousands of people, and the Hamas soldiers have killed, 5,000 people over the last 50 years?
Viewership. I mean, I could go all day. It's kind of actually pretty impressive. Yeah. People are putting his face on Hitler, which is epic and awesome. Now, what did he have to say about it? Here's his response. Let's take a look. Again, this has all been erased and in Arabic, so I'm doing my best here. But he said... in translation, even if 100 years pass, may God curse the Jews above every land and beneath every sky, you pigs, he said. He's just talking about Zionists. He also said down here, I met a Jew in Cud who was wearing a pig flag.
Oh, he's just talking about Zionists. I mean, does he have a history? Dude, holy shit, this is so fucking stupid. In no example has Ethan ever found someone saying, we need to, like, stop Jews from talking, or we need to stop Jews from living, or we need to kick Jews out of Israel. Ethan has never found an example of that. And then the response to that has been, I was just talking about Zionists. I mean, I guess he's going to say that Love Sabra Hummus is, we're just talking about Zionists. We're not actually talking about Jews. We're just talking about Zionism. And he's going to be like, well, Sabra means a Jew born in Israel, so you're full of shit. So that's the closest example. But in every other situation, it's been Hassan criticizing Zionism. It's been Matt Lieb criticizing Zionists. It's been Emma Vigeland criticizing Zionists. And he's saying that you're talking about Jews, actually. You're actually talking about Jews. And now dude, this is so disingenuous. He's using this guy who made an anti-Semitic statement against Jews. And then he's saying, oh, but I'm sure Hassan would say he's just talking about Zionists. Hassan has never said that anti-Semitism is just about Zionism. This is like, bro, it's so gross because he's trying to connect this pretty clear, blatant anti-Semitism. Like, it's so stupid. It's so fucking stupid, right? It's just like edgy anti-Semitism straight out of Nazi Germany, right? Oh, the Jews are pigs. We got to throw them down the well and stuff like that. Like, he's conflating this shit to the stuff that actual pro-Palestinian people are doing by saying that, oh, well, I'm sure you would just defend that as being anti-Zionist, right? Holy shit.
And cursing Gaza. I did not tolerate it, and I separated from him and took him, his mother, and family captive, and I praised Hitler. I'm not quite sure if he's making a joke that he took them hostage and praised Hitler, or if this is actually a real anecdote where he said, Hail Hitler or something to an actual group of folks he encountered. I'm not really sure. But, and again, forgive me, this is all verified real text. The URLs are here, but when you open it up, it's all like HTML and stuff. But these are all verified. So this is what he had to say about the ban. Let's take a look.
Dude, I love the title of this Google Doc. Arabic speaking Twitch guy. I mean, yeah, he called Rashid al-Hadid that Yemeni terrorist. And in Ethan Klein's mind, Hassan did that interview with Rashid with the fucking Houthi flag flying in the background behind Rashid, which is just so funny. Like, if that's not the most purest distilled version of Ethan's psychosis, I don't know what is. It's like he's literally just inserting things into the backgrounds of videos that he has like a hazy memory of. So crazy.
Make that bigger for you. So he said, even if I get banned for a year, may Allah curse the Jews above any land and under any sky, you pigs. Okay, well, under any sky, I mean, I'm not in Israel. And I guess he's talking about me, or anyone in Europe or anywhere in America, really. All the lands and all the skies, curse the Jews. This is the anecdote I read. He says, someone asked him, what did he say? Or I don't know what someone asked him, but he said, all I said is, I love Hitler, heart emoji. Normal stuff. Twitch, and then this happened after everything I just showed you. Twitch decided to give me a chance and reduce the ban by 50%. But there's a test I have to pass. And with these kind of questions, I don't think I'll pass. It turns out, however, though, he did pass because his 2-week suspension was reduced to 1 week. So thank you to Twitch for going lenient on this guy who was clearly just misunderstood and taken out of context. Now, this guy, of course, fully sponsored up. He doesn't have VODs, but I've checked it before and I've seen it. If you look at the other Arabic streamers,
you know what? I've got something on.
You basically get the same ads that you would get in English. I got a Fortnite ad. Wait, Volvo. Yeah, but he's fully monetized. He's fully added up. It's based on where you're located. So if you're in America, you're getting Volvo ads. Right after or before, you're getting a I love Hitler and fuck Jew pigs. 1 week it was reduced to, and I'm so grateful to Twitch and their leniency. I want to ask you guys one more time, going back to the Q&A he was putting on with the head of TwitchCon, and ask you if you think it was right to ban these questions during a Q&A.
I mean, just one funny comment there. It's like, was that an ad for Twitter or was that an ad for his YouTube? I don't know. But, I mean, all of these Hitler tweets are on Twitter. And Ethan Smoke is all for Twitch, which did ban him. Twitter is like openly allowing anti-Semitism, and he's like, I sleep. I don't know, dude. Like, yes, it's bad. Should this guy get banned? Probably, like, permanently banned. But the fact is, Ethan's propaganda is only aimed one way. He does not care about anti-Semitism from people that he cannot use to conflate back to Hassan and people that are actually trying to be pro-Palestinian, because Ethan does care about the sovereignty of Israel, and he does care about Israel as an apartheid state. And if anyone actually pushes against that, then that is an issue for him. And so when we go back to how he said it's so funny that Dan Bilzerian didn't get on Anti-Semite of the Year and Hassan is in the final three, isn't that hilarious? Wouldn't it be hilarious if Hassan won? If we go back to how he's criticizing Bassem Youssef for saying that Israel is like taking away kids when that's just undeniably true. All of this just goes to try to prop up Israel more. And he, once again, he's like not criticizing Twitter for being anti-Semitic. He's not really even criticizing Elon Musk for being anti-Semitic. He criticized Dan Bilzerian one time for being anti-Semitic, but he will keep all of his attention aimed on Hassan. And then he'll just take this example of a guy who is anti-Semitic and then say, oh, but I'm sure they would say he's just talking about Zionism. So, yeah, it's just gross. And once again, like, Twitch banned this guy. He had nothing to say when Twitch banned Asmongold for saying that Palestinians are like subhuman or they have an inferior culture. And I'm just done with it. Like, yes, you can criticize anti-Semitism, but let's just be honest about where the real danger of anti-Semitism is coming from. And it's coming from Israel, because Israel is making the world a less safe place for Jewish people. It's also coming from conservatives who are literally having Nazi rallies, who own the website Twitter and are allowing anti-Semitism to flourish on Twitter. It's coming from guys like Elon Musk, not only for having Twitter, but like promoting the idea of the Great Replacement theory. It's coming like from Theo Vaughn, who does say that Jews control the media, from Joe Rogan, from Donald Trump, who is like blamed Jews. He said he would blame Jews if he lost the election. And I mean, obviously he supports Nazism too, and like supports neo-Nazi groups. But anyway, Jesus Christ, dude. So I think that's going to be it for the stream today. Great conversation with Zach from the, what's his podcast called again? From the Village People podcast. You know, that was fun. Yeah, let me know. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your super chats, liking the video, commenting on the stream. Thanks for Spencer and Kate, my awesome mods, for moderating for me. If anyone else is interested in moderating so that we can kind of, yeah, sorry, Avocado Loco. But if anyone else is interested in moderating for me, shoot me an email. Can always use more people to kind of like keep the trolls and the detractors from chat in line. And yeah, it was a fun stream. Comment in this video down below if there's anyone else that you want me to either react to or reach out to and possibly have a conversation with them. I've been having a lot of fun having conversations with other content creators. I've been having a lot of fun just like doing this show. And I know like covering Ethan is kind of cathartic for you guys, but it's so annoying. But anyway, if Ethan keeps being bad, I'm going to keep covering him. But I am going to, you know, I've been enjoying my time away from him. But he is bad. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. This was really fun.